Okay. It's been a couple days, and presumably in those couple days, I would have had the opportunity to experience the expected revelation in which I would suddenly realize the trick behind this case. That would be Chapter 5 of SDRA. And that revelation never came. That epiphany never came. And so today, I still really don't have much of an idea as to what's going on. So I had to reach back and grab a erasable pencil there. Erasable pen, sorry. All pencils are usually erasable. So I really don't know the answer. I don't really have a good guess. Given, it doesn't really seem like Linju wrote this in a way where he would expect you to be able to know the answer. It seems like he's writing it in a way that he is setting it up to surprise you no matter what. And isn't really letting you play the game of trying to figure out who the culprit is before we go through the trial, and the trial explains it to me. I'm going to put down, though, some notes as to kind of what I've observed through investigating the case. And turn down my mic gain again, because I don't know why it automatically turns up. It wasn't as bad as it usually is. Just to put my thoughts out there. So some some observations, oddities, things. Number one, Ichi. Before we go into the records room to find the body, Yuki says that it smelled of blood and gunpowder. Now, at the crime scene, we didn't see anything that would have anything to do with gunpowder. We didn't see any cannons or guns or anything. So we go, how in the world is gunpowder related to this? And was that just a mistake in the Zephyrum's translation? Given it's something that Google Translate also said, as well as Zephirum, which gives higher credence to this, that what leads you really meant to say there was that, I just realized, is it Linuj or Linju? I was pronouncing it wrong the whole time. Maybe Zephyrum just spelled it wrong. Okay. I keep saying Linju, but it might be... Because I can't imagine it spelling out in Hangul Uj. It's not going to be Linju. What I actually meant to write there was gunpowder. So we had this like hanging loose end here where somehow gunpowder has to do with the crime scene. The smell of gunpowder was there, but there was nothing at the scene or nearby the scene or anywhere we investigated regarding the case directly that had to do with gunpowder. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what to do with that. There's just this open loose end again. I don't have any evidence of gunpowder in the truth bullets or anything. I'm going to actually start loading in here so we can look at the... what did I just do? No, if everything's good there. So I can start looking at my truth bullet list. And then I'm going to click off so the music is muted for a while. Yeah. Next observation is that usually the events in the daily life that lead up to the trial have something to do with the case, in sometimes odd and unexpected ways. The biggest example I can think of is the scene with the contest between Taka and Mondo in the sauna in the second chapter of Trigger Happy Havoc. It's this completely seemingly random, off-the-wall scene that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the murder, except the final nail in the coffin for the culprit of that murder was something that was very highly related to that scene. And that scene actually mattered for the murder case in the end. Right? Now, if Linju is following the model that Kodaka laid out in this chapter, then the event where where Kinjo shoots himself in the forehead is going to be somehow related to this case in a weird, unexpected way, potentially be towards the end. Because it didn't really seem to change much in itself, right? We had Kinjo in a coma, and then he wakes up from the coma, does this, and puts him back into a coma. Except with potentially worse consequences upon waking up. It didn't change his situation all that much. It was just there just for shock value. Well, usually things aren't there just for shock value. Something to do with him shooting himself in the forehead and surviving has something to do with this particular murder case we're seeing right now. I can't imagine how, though. The only thing is what I mentioned as observation number 1 is that there was the smell of gunpowder at the scene of the crime. And that's the only thing that relates the two. And if you try to stretch that, you would say, okay, some sort of observation from that event with Kinjo applies to this crime. So maybe something to do with, that gun being defective or something. And it caused this explosion on his forehead that shattered his skull, but it doesn't send the bullet through it, is somehow related to what occurred in wherever Yamato Kisaragi died. It's difficult to imagine, though, the what happened with Kinjo and the defective gun to relate it to how ripping a chunk of flesh out of your chest. I don't really see the analogy. It's kind of a stretch. So I don't know if I can really go that far and say that the way that Yamato died is related to how Kinjo survived. That's like my only thing I can think of right now as to apply the situation, the scene that happened with Kinjo, to the actual murder case. Observation number 3. The cause of death is missing from the Monokuma file, as Yuki points out to the player, which seems to suggest that if you were to figure out the cause of death, that would be that little pin you could pull. That would be the key that you would use to unravel the whole case. Once you realize that, everything just starts fitting together, right? Unfortunately, I have really no idea whatsoever about what the cause of death was. I didn't seem to observe anything that would have the capability of specifically ripping his chest off. I've not seen a mechanism for that anywhere in the chapter, in investigation or daily life. So it's just a complete enigma. I might get back to that a little bit later, though, when I talk about location of death. I have really 2 things to go off of on the cause of death. One is the gunpowder, and the other is something that I'm going to bring up a little bit later when I talk about other things that are related to some of these other points. So observation number 4 is that only Rei and Yuki know that you cannot open the password-protected records room door if someone is already in the records room. And if 2 people try to go in at the same time, a bulkhead will come down. Now, it is tempting to just take this as, well, it's you can kind of go what if they hugged and then they shuffled in sideways, side by side through the door? What would it do then? Would it just bring the bulkhead down and crush them? It's basically, but it seems like Lee Ju just saying, just trust me. Okay, it's hard to make this work. I can't really make a super tight, foolproof system to block two people from coming in that door at the same time. But the point is that two people kind of go to that door at the same time. Okay, just accept it. Anyway, with a caveat to that. But anyway, they're the only two people who know that information. And oddly, have not told any of the other characters. They've had the opportunity to do so in the floor and the investigation report, but Lee Ju calls out specifically that they did not. And they didn't tell any of the other characters this during the investigation. Well, if the other characters don't know this, and only them two know, it starts to give you that, a bit of that nostalgia for the 5th chapter of Trigger Happy Havoc, where Makoto knew something that nobody else did, and he withholds that information, which allows Kyoko to get away with pulling one over them. If Rei and Yuki have lasted this long, not telling the other kids about the rules for entering through that password protected door, you would presume that they would last a certain amount of time into the trial with that information, because if they just came out with that information right away at the beginning of the trial, what's the point of keeping it secret until then, right? You would have just written that they revealed it in the investigation report. So they're going to carry that into the trial some distance, and that missing information is going to have some effect. It could be a trivial fact, it's just something to do a non-stop debate about. Or it could be something Trigger Happy Havoc like, where it's very pivotal. You have to decide with great consequence whether or not to reveal that information or not. So I just noticed that also, it is partly to do with how Zephirum translated things. Ray suggested that would be super important, which is suggestive that how that will be resolved is not just as trivial as, oh, that's just presented as a truth bullet to do a non-stop debate, and that information being kept secret is just another way to just make another non-stop debate happen and pad out the number of non-stop debates in the trial. Door rules. Okay, and then related to the door rules and also the cause of death is the location of death. You see, it seems, if you put everything together, that the most probable location of death for Yamato was right outside or in the doorway of the that password-protected door, because that's where most of the blood is. The blood stains are smeared from there. It doesn't make very much sense that he would be killed inside the records room. Sorry, hiccups again. Because then there would be a bunch of blood splatter on the floor of the records room, and there isn't. It's weird to think that he was killed in the lab, and the reason is just because it seems like the chunk of flesh was dragged from the location of death to the lab, and by wringing it out, so to speak, they made the blood stain trail from the records room to the lab, instead of the body being dragged from the lab to the records room. And that's just because Yuki observed that the chunk of flesh was covered in dust. That suggested it was dragged in some way. It was dragged on the floor. So, it also mentioned about the poor condition of it. It's all beat up and stuff. Which could be just explained by, well, it was ripped out of his chest. His chest was all beat up and stuff. But also that it was wrung out, trying to get the blood all over the place. And so I always came to, this just seems likely to me that he wasn't killed in the lab either. He was killed, the chunk of flesh moved the wrong direction to try to make a setup to make it look like he was killed in the lab. Now, if he was killed right at the doorway or right in front of the door, you could come up with this idea that is the bulkhead of that comes down when people try to go through the door at the same time that killed him. The problem is, and that would explain why that is so important. It makes location, and it provides a possible mechanism of death and a reasonable location of death. The problem is that it's a really big stretch to me that what Lee Ju would write would be that his middle of his chest was ripped out because a door came down on him. Like, I don't see how that's an intuitive thing to write. I don't see how that would be the case. But you could write anything. Your Danganronpa trials have to make super physical sense. But I still don't even imagine someone writing that. That's just weird that you would get your chest ripped open because a door came down. Like, the door would do some other kind of injury to you. It wouldn't do that injury. So the injury doesn't really match the mechanism there. And it also doesn't explain the smell of gunpowder. So there's problems. Next observation is the big one, in that there seems to be a very poor attempt to set Mikako up as the culprit. So why is it poor? Well, but what's even weirder about it is that Mikako seems to be in on it. Like, she's helping to set herself up as the culprit. It's like she intentionally smeared blood on herself, grabbed a kitchen knife from, I presume, the parlor, which was also on the 5th floor, and stood over the body holding a kitchen knife. You wouldn't do that unless you were trying to make it look like you did it. But it's a very poor setup because she was wearing a clean knife that didn't have any blood on it, and it didn't look like her chest was kind of torn up. It wasn't cut. It doesn't really look like Yamato's wound. It didn't really look like it was inflicted by a knife. But then there's other things as well, like Mikako's name was written, interestingly, in katakana. I guess she wrote Mikako in katakana. In the lab. But the way that Yamato was killed was crazy. You would think he would have passed out from low blood pressure immediately. So you wouldn't expect it to have time to write a dying message. Tomori died a dying message. I tried to write a dying message, and hers was all sloppy. She didn't write nice, clean katakana. Notice the parallel here that both the dying message that Tomori wrote and this supposed dying message are both written in katakana. She was not able to write nice, neat katakana like we see in that dying message in this chapter, and she had a much less of a severe wound. So Mr. Kisaragi, with a much worse wound, how is he going to write those nice, neat katakana? Also, it doesn't really seem like Kisaragi died in the lab. It looks like he was killed right at the doorway to the records room. His body was put on a cart, which was used it went like this, where they took the flesh from his chest, dragged it on the floor to the lab to make that blood stain go into the lab, and then wrote the dying message in the lab, grabbed the cart from the lab, went back to where his body was, put his body in the cart, just to a very short distance, into the records room. The records room door might have been open because he just put the password in or something, or Mikako just did this and just happened to find the password on him at the last minute, and rolled his dead body on the cart into the records room. It's easy to do that at a short distance, but it makes things kind of confusing because it makes it so that less blood gets on the floor of the records room to put his body deep into the records room. They could do this because one of the bodies, Kisaragi, would have been dead. So there would have been one beating heart going to the records room door. Right? The records room rules wouldn't stop them at that point. That's kind of what one or more people, that's what it seems like they did. And if that was what they actually did, that dying message would not be a true dying message. It would be someone trying to set Mikako up, which, considering that Mikako seemed to try to set herself up by standing over Kisaragi with a knife, you might think that Mikako also wrote her name in blood in the lab. The problem is, those contradict each other, right? If you're standing over Kisaragi's body holding a knife covered in blood, it's supposed to make it look like you just did the crime right there and then, and they almost walked in on it. Whereas if you have a dying message in the lab, that suggests that the injuries to Kisaragi were inflicted in the lab, which is not what she would portray by standing over his body with a knife in the records room. In other words, there's contradictory setups. That's a really bad job setting yourself up if you're setting yourself up multiple ways that contradict each other. And of course, the other piece of evidence, physical evidence, is also the circumstantial evidence, which is really important because Mikako seemed to be the only one that they didn't know where she was at the time of the murder, is Mikako's bedsheet that was used to climb up into the records room from the ballroom. That's even weirder because we know she did that. That's not a setup. But she didn't put that bedsheet there when she last went up. She wouldn't have time to tie a bedsheet, probably. And Yuki would have taken note that she was carrying a bedsheet with her when she went to go investigate the 5th floor when he had that conversation with her that morning. So, in the dormitory area. So it suggests that she set that up days before. And so she's been in the records room like at least 1 or 2 days before the murder occurred. She figured out that way in. Yeah. Why was the room open? Might be just for plot convenience. We didn't have a Byakuya take her room key in the same way Trigger Happy Havoc. Trigger Happy Havoc, they explain it by Byakuya has his room. They make it all work and it's really clever where, yeah. But I don't want to summarize it. Anyway. So that's the 6th point, I guess, is suspiciously poor setup. And one way you could explain why the setup is so poor is, of course, maybe Mikako was in a hurry, right? She was setting herself up really quickly. And that's why everything is sloppy and contradicts each other. Makes it hard to think it's the mastermind who did the setup because the mastermind wouldn't do it that poorly. Another way you could try to explain it is Mikako was setting herself up because people would be less suspicious of her if there was a lot of very clear evidence that really looked like a setup, right? They would think that she was set up if the evidence looked set up. It's kind of like a reverse psychology thing. Now, as to who did it, really, it only seems like it's possible, as the characters point out over and over, that there's 2 people that could have done it. One is Mikako, and the other is the mastermind. Now, it seems kind of cheap to say, oh, the mastermind did it. However, in the regular commercial Danganronpa, this has happened. And, of course, that game postdates SDRA. And it kind of sort of happens in Trigger Happy Havoc. Although that kill by the mastermind isn't like a murder so much as it was first presented as a punishment for a rule violation. So it is a thing, like you do, it's kind of how you finish off a Danganronpa is the mastermind turns out to be the culprit, and then you convince the mastermind to execute themselves because they were the culprit. Because the mastermind follows their own rules. It's kind of this lawful evil thing going on, right? So, anyway, it's not out of the question, especially for Chapter 5. Generally, you don't find out that it's the mastermind who did it then in the actual Chapter 5 itself. You have to wait till Chapter 6, which means that you might get it wrong the first time. In Chapter 5, you might misstep. and someone takes the fall instead of the mastermind for a murder they did not commit, right? So you can still try to guess, well, who is the person who will be executed for this murder? And unlike Trigger Happy Havoc, where the protagonist, there is some plausible argument you could see as to how maybe the protagonist might be the culprit. You don't really see it here. You don't really see any way for anybody to be the culprit except for Mikako, because we saw where everybody else was between when you last saw Kisaragi alive and when you first see him dead. One little exception is Kinjo and Teruya, because Teruya going down to check on Kinjo, so to speak. However, the author seems intentionally dismissive of this. It's like he's just telling the reader, just trust me, okay? It's not Teruya or Kinjo. Kinjo didn't suddenly miraculously wake up and do this crime, okay? Just rule that out. We're going to act like that's not a thing. That's not what's going on. So yes, is it the mastermind or Mikako? Did Mikako actually do it? And the twist is, no, the setup is fake because it's supposed to make it look fake, but she really did do it. Or it's the mastermind who did it. And that leads me to point number 7, which is the motive. The appearance of Monokuma says the motive turned out so much better than he thought it would. Which may mean it is a little different than he thought it would. But also it's important that it did a similar thing to what he wanted done. Right, so... or she, I don't know if the mastermind's going to be a him or a her. So, what was he trying to say here? The appearance of Kisaragi was designed to motivate a murder, really and truly. Well, who would commit a murder as a result of the appearance of Kisaragi? Well, Mikako only. Or Rei. But Rei wouldn't do that because Rei just wouldn't do that. So it leaves Mikako only. So, Mikako or the mastermind, which is it? It's like a 50-50 shot. Is it... The mastermind is not acting... I'm going to take the coin I used. Is it still on my desk? Still on the table? I was going to flip a coin. I guess I will. I guess I'll try to think one. You know, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say it's the mastermind. That's my guess. Which is kind of like the null guess. It's kind of like not taking a guess, but kind of the chickening guess. That's what I'm going to go with. Let's see what happens. I'll read these first. So, Kisaragi Hanzo was the victim. He died at 8:30 a.m., about 15 minutes after we last met him. The cause of death is shock due to the laceration in the, basically a huge hole in his chest. Laceration in the groove doesn't make any sense, but... The chest hole. The victim, Kisaragi, suffered serious injuries such that his chest was completely blown away, revealing the entire inside of his body. The Monokuma file also mentioned that this wound was a direct cause of death. However, there are no other noticeable traumas. What kind of thing can destroy only this part without touching others? The clean kitchen knife. This was the knife that Kurokawa was holding when the body was found. At first, I thought that Kurokawa might have hurt Kisaragi with a knife, but the Monokuma file did not mention any wounds by knife, and the knife itself was clean with no blood on it. Was it just for a distraction? Even so, why was Kurokawa holding a knife? The bloody cart. A cart from the lab was left at the scene of the incident covered in blood. The fact that the cart was covered in blood means it may have carried a corpse. But if you could enter the records room from the ballroom, could you bring the cart upstairs? Right, it had to be rolled in through the door. It's still full of mysteries, including to this even up to this point. Kisaragi's handbook. Kisaragi's handbook was handed over from Kurokawa, a handbook that Kisaragi had. It's mostly blank, but there was a number 0430 written on one page. I still don't know why Linju just didn't make it 11037. What is the purpose of the number? There's a high probability that it's a guess that this is the password to the door to the records. But why did Kurokawa give this to us? Everyone's alibi. Mikaro clearly stated that the only one who can commit the crime is Kurokawa in this case. The reason is that from the time Kisaragi, the victim, last appeared in front of us, except for Kurokawa, the others have been with us all the way until the body was found. Is Kurokawa really the culprit? Entrance of the records. It is true that only me and Mikaru know, but there are rules other than just the password in the records room. Only one person can enter the records room. When there's already someone inside, the door won't open. People go in at the same time. Bulkhead door closes the room. Because of these rules, is the records room itself heavily involved in this case? You cannot enter the records room unless you know the password. However, an emergency exit in the back was strangely connected to the dance hall, the ballroom. The problem is that there was a door on the high railing, as it was one floor higher. Still, someone had hung a white cloth to allow access. It must be the culprit's doing. But haven't I seen this cloth somewhere else? Corrected is Mikako's bedsheet. Laboratory meat. Mentioned by Akane, there is someone's chunk of flesh around the lab. Or in the lab, that is. According to Mikaru, it is presumed to belong to the victim Kisaragi. The shape is squeezed beyond recognition, and bloodstains from the flesh are connected to the hallway corridor. Could the bloodstains in the hallway at the 5th floor really be this piece of flesh? Anesthetic gas. This is another reason why the victim is unlikely to have written that quote-unquote dying message, because they would have been knocked out by anesthetic gas before they were killed by the thing to the chest. However, it may be the anesthetic gas was not used at all because it was found in the lab as opposed to at the murder site, which I presume was not the lab. However, they could have carried it to the lab after committing the murder. It's a gas grenade that has been used in the laboratory. I forgot about this. Anyway, it's a gas grenade that had been used in the laboratory, and it is called anesthetic gas. There is a possibility that the victim was neutralized rather than killed immediately. These kind of things must come from the arsenal. Kisaragi's dying message. There was a dying message written in blood on the laboratory floor. The victim Kisaragi must have written it with all his might. Are we sure? The victim, Mikako. It was written Mikako, but for most of us who know who this name refers to, even if it's true, would the criminal just leave the dying message that pointed out their name so openly and leave it behind by their own decision? And could he have left it, really? I mean, there's the gas thing, right? Maybe the gas thing was just not used. Kurokawa's room. Kurokawa's room was open for some reason. Also, the bed sheets were missing inside. I thought I had seen the white cloth tied to the railing of the ballroom somewhere, but it is highly likely that it is from her private room bed. Not to mention, why would Kurokawa's sheets be gone? And that's it. Okay, this is the Zephirum build, do the trial. Zephirum build is usually really terrible for the daily life and deadly life, but he does a surprisingly better job when it comes to the trials. So, probably won't be too bad.
Now then, let's start with a brief explanation of the class trial. The outcome of the class trial will be decided by your votes. If you point out the blackened, then only they will be punished, but if you pick the wrong person, then I'll punish everyone except the blackened, and the one who deceived everyone will graduate proudly. Now, you may start with...
You're like so worthless, Teruya. You're such a filler character to pad out the cast to 16 characters. The culprit is Kurokawa. Nothing more to see here.
Oh, you started already. Well, it doesn't matter. Please discuss things carefully.
Wait a minute, Teruya. We've only just started. It's just the beginning and nothing more, right? Before, Mikaru was the first to investigate, but now how can you prove it? It's a class trial. The culprit is still Kurokawa. You all know that, don't you? At the time Yuki and Mikaru found the body, Kurokawa was bloody at the scene. Besides, everyone except Kurokawa were together. Otori-kun, calm down a little. As Maeda-kun said, we are just starting. Wouldn't it be better to sort things out? No, I'm perfectly calm right now. This is different from before. I mean, it's a conclusion after a thorough analysis, not a call out of a desire to escape from reality. Of course, I also think Mikako-chan is most suspicious, but... Akane! Too much pizza. Akane saying that really sets Kurokawa off. Interesting. Curb your bullshit. It looks exactly the same as before. So stop and let's begin the discussion. What do you mean? Isn't Kurokawa the culprit? Of course, I also see Kurokawa as the main suspect. But currently, Teruya is being too forward. It's a requirement to at least have a discussion. So did Teruya do it? Teruya? Did you do it? I mean, I don't know how that would work, but you're mighty suspicious right now. For now, it would be better to convince Teruya, or make him make believe he's convinced so he doesn't get too suspicious. No, I don't want to, the tutorial for this. Even though I forgot how to do it. Okay. My notes are non-stop. So everyone's alibis, the clean knife, the ballroom cloth, probably a clean knife probably. Otori-kun, calm down. I'm not done talking. She was bloodied at the scene, that is correct. I mean, there's even more convincing evidence than this. Stupid, your life is at stake. Can't you take responsibility for it? It's because you don't need to see it. Besides, there's more evidence that you can't dismiss. Have you forgotten? She was holding a kitchen knife. Okay, she was though, so that's not wrong. If you're not a culprit, why are you holding a knife? You killed Kisaragi with the knife, and this is the problem right here. Kurokawa, you killed Kisaragi with the knife. Oh, is that what his skill does? Is give you extra money? No, that's someone else's. I don't think we got his skill. Did we? No, we didn't. I don't know, somebody gives me extra money. 10. So, use clean knife. I have to write this down in my notes for, when I do this on the original build. On the last statement. By Teruya. Teruya, just because she was holding a kitchen knife, doesn't mean that she is the culprit. What are you talking about? No matter how you look at it, she was carrying a weapon. I'm not sure you can even cook in there. No, you can tell by looking at the body of Kisaragi, the victim in this case. Kisaragi wasn't stabbed to death by this knife. It's also specified in the Monokuma file. There were no special wounds other than a hole in his chest. Right, and crucially, there was not a drop of blood on the knife. No sign of stabbing anyone. That's true, sorry for forcing this. But then what was the kitchen knife for, unless she was set up in a murder? I won't deny that issue with you. I admit that Kurokawa is suspicious to the end, but that doesn't mean that you can just blindly conclude that she is the culprit. I know, I'm sorry. Without knowing, I let my habit run wild again. Now, you're just trying to show everybody up, weren't you? I didn't grow at all, I don't think I did. No, it's because we all understand it. Are you done now? Then let's start with the case. Wait, are you okay for 1 minute before that? What else? Well, that thing. That one next to Monokuma. What is that? Why is Kisaragi's portrait over there? Because he's one of the students. Oh, this? Well, don't mind it. I couldn't help it because there wasn't a seat space for him. A seat? Yeah, because he had to die anyway. This is going to be important. Kisaragi-kun was originally a person who never entered a class trial room, so he had a reserved seat. Or he did not. Okay, he did not have a reserved seat. Hey, don't talk about anything that has nothing to do with the trial. Come on, start the discussion right now. No, it does. If he does not have a reserved seat, then that means that he was meant to die. Which is another suggestion that the mastermind killed him. I mean, we started talking about them again and again. We can't help it. I'm not saying that that class trial is our top priority right now. Since the case hasn't been sorted out, right? Let's get started. I think you are saying the class trials are top priority right now. I think you negated it accidentally. That's okay. First, the victim in this case, Kisaragi. The incident happened this morning. Well, everyone was there except Mikako-chan. Yeah, at that moment, Kisaragi's behavior suddenly became a little strange, and he ran to the 5th floor looking for Kurokawa. It was as if he had become a different person. What was Kisaragi's true identity? That's fine and all, it doesn't have anything to do with the case. I would like to know, but we can't because he's dead. So let's just forget about it. In any case, I don't think Mikaru is right in this instance. In any case, we sensed something strange was happening, sensed past tense, and hurried to the 5th floor to chase after Kisaragi. Only then, the 5th floor was already bloody, something had already happened. At that time, Mikaru gave instructions to me and Akane, didn't she? I was to go check Kinjo, and Akane was to check the bloodstains in the lab. Yeah, besides Kinjo, we were able to get some crucial clues from the lab, including that there was nothing wrong with him. Crucial clues, what was in the lab? That's for later, let's organize the case first. First, Maeda and I tried to enter the bloodstained record room, but we could not open the door. Sure enough, a password was required to enter the records. That's right, you told me when we were investigating the 5th floor. However, it seems certain that something had happened in the records room, and while we were thinking about what to do, Mikaru took me to the ballroom. Surprisingly, the white cloth in the ballroom was connected to the 5th floor, and the door you see when you hold the cloth and go up was directly connected to the back door of the records room. When Tyra and I were about to enter the records room, we were told to go back to the ballroom. I wondered if the ballroom and records were connected somehow. So in the end, the cloth was tied up by the culprit, right? That's right. This means that the culprit had to do the same to get into the records. The culprit mustn't have known the password either. It's only natural, isn't it? It's a facility that was originally in this building, and we don't know anything about the facility, including the killer. I thought so too, but Mikaru said that the culprit might know the password. Let's talk about it later because it's important, but not now. Anyway, when we entered the room through the ballroom, Yamato Kisaragi was dead. And in front of the dead Yamato Kisaragi, that woman, Mikako Kurokawa was standing there covered in blood. For now, this is the overview of the case. Yeah, everyone except for Mikako-chan. That's right, I'm sorry, I didn't even want to discuss it earlier, and I'm sorry, but no matter how I look at it, no one can commit the crime other than Kurokawa. However, if the criminal fails to deceive us in the class trial in their own way, they'll be put to death. Is it really that easy to commit a crime? Is there some kind of trick we don't know about? Come to think of it, didn't you mention that Mikaru found a crucial clue a while ago? What is wrong with the laboratory? Or what's up with the laboratory? It's an important clue, but it's hard to figure out the whole case with that alone. What we found in the lab, yeah, that's what we were discussing now. When I went to check it out after hearing it from Akane, in the lab was... Well, a lot of things were in the lab, but the thing they were probably thinking of was the meat, right? which should be flesh. Makaru, you were talking about the piece of bloody flesh that was in the lab. Flesh? Human flesh? Yeah, I heard it from Akane. I went to check it out myself. That flesh was probably from Kisaragi's chest. Moreover, Teruya, you should have entered the laboratory before the announcement went off. No, I didn't see it. I was in a hurry. Is that so? I was also surprised when I first found it. The fact that Kisaragi-kun's flesh was in there means that Kisaragi-kun was killed in the laboratory, right? That's it? I mean, he wasn't murdered in the records room? But even if that's the case, isn't it impossible for anyone other than Kurokawa to commit the crime? Well, that's not the case, but the place where he was killed can be a very important clue. If you don't know who the culprit is, it's silly. Hey, Teruya, do you seem a bit dissatisfied? You are so full of yourself just because I decided to cooperate with you, aren't you? No, it's not really like that. I'm sorry, I'll stay quiet. In the end, no matter what I say, it comes with the conclusion that it is impossible to commit the crime except for Kurokawa. But I can't conclude without knowing anything at all like this. The biggest obstacle in this case is... Let's talk about that with everyone. Give another non-stop. I have a choose truth bullet. And we choose the meat, right? Just non-stop. Even if we try to organize the case, the result won't be any different. Even if Kisaragi was killed in the lab, only Kurokawa can commit the crime. Bloody cart, everyone's alibis, anesthetic gas. If there's someone who can commit the crime except this woman, rec room door. But after Kisaragi-kun left the dining hall, until the body was found, we were always together. Oh, I think we're supposed to agree with that with everyone's alibis. Ah, phooey. Akane and I went out for a bit, but we came back in a hurry. When we arrived at the 5th floor, something had already happened, right? That's true. Hold on, we need to discuss this in further detail. Indeed, the biggest obstacle is Kurokawa. As Teruya said, can it be decided that Kurokawa is the culprit? No, we have to do everything we can. Let's think of what each of us was doing when the incident occurred. Okay. I should have used everyone's alibis, which I wasn't paying attention to because I was writing notes. Oops. No. Off we. I can't accelerate through this. There's no acceleration, is there? Fooey. I tried to hit the, I was going for the fire, and I accidentally hit the change truth bullet. So now I'm going to lose another blue star. Needlessly. So, okay, so the notes are, use everyone's alibis. On 6th statement, agree with Akane. Okay. I got kind of a lame score there because I lost blue stars. As Akane said, no matter what the clues are, it cannot be denied that we were together at the time of the incident. We'll have to work this out in order to see the truth. Wait a minute, why is the story suddenly going towards the direction of except for Kurokawa, there's a culprit among us? If the alibis are perfect, doesn't common sense say that Kurokawa is the culprit? Why is the culprit Kurokawa gradually moving away from the subject list? Because white eyes. Why? Because frankly it's too easy if Mikako Kurokawa wins. It's almost like someone is trying to blame Mikako Kurokawa for the charges instead. I'm also in agreement. Something is fishy. It's a class trial where your life is lost if you one single mistake. If you make one single mistake. You need to think more if you're not 100% sure. We are being too blunt. Aren't you just scared? Maeda Mikaru, normally you trusted the clues pointing to the culprit and gave the answer. Why are you afraid to be so afraid to... What are you afraid of to be so careful this time? It's the alibis and the blood. Besides, there's even evidence of about the bed sheet, so anyone can tell that the culprit is... Don't be such a stick in the mud. Stick in the mud. It's full of complications. Don't you want to annoy me right now? Or what? Are you the killer? You can't do that. Don't joke like that. I don't know, it's not too far-fetched. Hey, Otori-kun. Just the bed sheet? What do you mean by that? Oh right, Akane doesn't know about this. Bed sheets, of course, that was the clue Teruya gave us at the end of the investigation. The place where Teruya took us was... Okay, so another choose truth bullet. Kurokawa's room, right? Yeah, Kurokawa's room. Just before the investigation time was over, Teruya called Mikaru and me in a hurry to look at and took us somewhere. The place Teruya took us was Kurokawa's private room. Mikako-chan's room? Yes, I stopped by my room before the started. And I was getting impatient. I noticed Kurokawa's room was wide open. So I looked inside for a moment. Kurokawa's room didn't have any bed sheets. What? You're surprised? Why would you be? And so suddenly? You haven't said anything, you just stood there still. What's this all of a sudden? Nothing. No. Well, we know that the bed sheets are gone, but what does that mean? Akane, there is a white cloth hanging from the second floor of the ballroom. Didn't you think you've seen it somewhere? I think I saw... maybe that cloth was the bed sheet from our private rooms? Yeah, it's probably the bed sheet from Kurokawa's room. But that's really conclusive evidence, isn't it? Like Mikako-chan's reaction a while ago. At this point, you and I can't stop thinking of it now. No, I think it's more likely that Mikako Kurokawa is not the killer. Huh? Is there a reason? Fools, just think about it. Let's say that the woman used that bedsheet and hung it up in the ballroom. Then, even if she hides that fact, she leaves the door wide open until time runs out? Don't you think that's weird? That may have been because the incident took place in such a short time. She may have forgotten it. Forget it. Besides, that's the only reason we have. Well, she wouldn't have forgot to go back and lock her room. You would have locked your room when you left. When I briefly looked around her dormitory before or after chasing Yamato Kisaragi, and there was no sign that the door to Mikako Kurokawa's room was open. I didn't look closely, but the door from the dormitory to the school side and Kurokawa's room goes in a straight line. So, well, this isn't translated well, but yes, Kurokawa's room is like on that corner there at the end of the hallway. Without getting close, as you said, you claimed the door was wide open, right? Actually, when I took you in Maeda, it was wide open. Yes, I saw it, but like trying to show that the door was wide open? Wait a minute, then Kurokawa couldn't have opened the door? If she comes back and opens the door right after we chase Kisaragi, we would inevitably run into each other. So that's what I'm saying. In short, the door to Mikako Kurokawa's room was opened. It sounds like it was one of us. Then you mean that person is the culprit? That's very likely. Using Mikako Kurokawa's bedsheets for the crime, they intentionally left the door open as if to show us. Isn't plausible if the goal is to cover up all the charges against Mikako Kurokawa? You mean pin all the charges on Kurokawa? Actually, we kept doubting Kurokawa till the end. No, but it's just a pendulum. Even if there's another culprit in our midst, it's impossible to commit a crime other than Kurokawa on an alibi. That's, well, Mikako Kurokawa? Would you care to join the discussion now? Actually, hearing your testimony is the most important thing. You didn't say a word during the investigation. What you went through at the time of the incident holds the key to this case. Sumimasen. Watashi. I don't know how to say I don't know. I can say wakarimasen. But that's like, I don't understand. Sorry, I don't know. Mikako-chan? Damn it, Kurokawa, are you the culprit? A victim? I'm starting to get confused. Hey, I wish you couldn't say something like this. But is there a possibility that she killed him? As in the case of Kurokawa-kun a while ago, or Kobashikawa-kun a while ago, was made into a self-made play? Unfortunately, Yamato Kisaragi was unable to commit a series of crimes, so it is unreasonable to start by opening the door to the private room we just talked about a while ago. This is actually translated very poorly, it turns out, unlike the previous two trials. It's hard to understand what's going on here. Someone has tried to cover up the charges against Kurokawa. I understand, everyone has an alibi, so it becomes impossible to commit a crime. I don't know what you mean by cover up. You mean frame Kurokawa, not cover up? How did they open Mikako-chan's room in the first place? Did they even steal the key? Guys, doesn't the alibi get things complicated? Doesn't the alibi get things complicated? Why don't we discuss the method of the crime, assuming that the culprit is a seventh person A? Seventh person A? I don't think we're going to progress if we ever continue with the alibis like this. Let's assume that there is a person named A who can roam freely other than us. Let's talk about the method of the crime first. I am in favor too. I am ashamed that a talented person such as me is not sure about this at all. Yeah, I think that would be nice too. Come to think of it, I think I heard a similar thing from Mikako-chan last time too. Approaching from the other side of the case based on the testimony that was already been given, without considering the truth or falsehood of a testimony. Did you remember all of that? Yeah, we can't give up just because we're stuck in one place. Let's designate a hypothetical person who can commit the crime, and discuss the method of crime using that person's pattern. Okay, non-stop. But is this going to be an absorb? Probably not. Okay. Dying message, Monokuma file 5, laboratory meat, ballroom cloth. Anesthetic gas. Dying message. Preparing for the crime wouldn't be difficult. Killing Yamato Kisaragi. To put the blame on Mikako Kurokawa is no easy feat. They kill Kisaragi first and spill blood in the hallway, right? And somehow they stole Mikako-chan's bedsheet. They even prepared a way to get to the records from the dance hall. If Mikako Kurokawa was really taken advantage of, by some means they must have kidnapped that woman. Otherwise, she wouldn't be standing next to a dead body. The problem lies in this happening within 15 minutes for all the events to have taken place. Even if it was a Mr. A, it's not that easy to commit the crime. Person A, the criminal, must have done something to make Kurokawa look like the criminal, besides simply killing Kisaragi. In order to figure that out, they would have to been able to control Kurokawa at will, and it would have been necessary to relatively incapacitate them. Let's think about that. Okay, so are you saying anesthetic gas? Okay, anesthetic gas. This is coming. We're going farther than I could go with this. We're going to get some left field here. The pin. Anesthetic gas. Ah, I hit the wrong button again. Ah, I did that again. Phooey. I'm gonna lose another blue star. Okay. Okay. That's a big one. Okay, they got farther than me on that. I didn't even start thinking in that direction at all. Makaru, by some means. I thought about it. Wouldn't it be possible if they used that? The anesthetic gas, I mean. Anesthetic? What's that? Akane, didn't you see it when you went to the lab? A strange can, the same thing that was rolling around like last time. I heard it from Makaru and thought, it's gotta be the anesthetic gas. It sprays compressed anesthetic gas in the form of a grenade. If you're exposed to it, your body will temporarily become numb and your nerves will not function properly. What? Where did they get such a dangerous thing? Maybe it's from the arsenal in the ballroom? Because the arsenal itself was still open after all, since Kinjo also brought a pistol from there. If you use that anesthetic gas, Kisaragi-kun as well as Mikako-chan can be neutralized. That's true, still, Kisaragi went looking for Kurokawa, so there's a good chance that they were together at that point. After immobilizing the two of them, Kisaragi is the axis. And if you make Kurokawa splash blood and stand in front of the corpse, in theory, it would be like this case. It's not about fainting, it's just paralyzing though. But if that's true, wouldn't Kurokawa see the culprit? That's true, but if you use a tool that can hide your identity, it's not a problem at all. Still, it's a bit strange that Kurokawa doesn't tell us what happened to her, but... Wait a second. I have a problem other than this. Once you use the anesthetic gas, you mean moving two people from the laboratory to the records room, right? Even if there's only one, isn't it difficult to move two people all by yourself? I agree as well. Besides, in that short time before we came up... Nope. The anesthetic gas was used in the laboratory. That means that two people were in the lab, were brought to the records room. Just as it was mentioned, it's difficult to move one person, but it would be a challenge to move two people in such a short time. But it would be impossible. There must be a shortcut to move two people at once. The proof is this. Proof this is the bloody cart. So choose truth bullet. Bloody cart? Yes. No, there is an easy way to transport two people by your own. You must need to use the cart. A cart? Haven't you seen it when you were searching the records? There's a cart that was supposed to be used to transport something. And that was also bloody. Ah, I remember. Wasn't that originally at the entrance of the lab? That's right. Surprisingly, the place where the anesthetic gas was supposed to be deployed was also the laboratory. I can think of only one possibility: the cart in the lab got bloodstained after being used to transport the bodies to the records. In order to move Kisaragi and Kurokawa. That's right. If you use the cart to transport them, you can easily move two people without any effort. By raising Kurokawa, including Kisaragi's corpse, they're able to overturn the charges against Kurokawa, or bring the charges against Kurokawa. Japanese. So I guess she has a voice actor. Okay, so now we have Rebuttal Showdown. I hate these on this. Wait, you've been talking like a cool guy for a while now. Cool dude! But can you think that much? What's wrong, Makaru? Is there something wrong with me? If, as you say, the case was so easy, I wouldn't say anything. However, there is a fallacy in your claim. Please don't confuse me with incorrect information. Just stay still. I'm going to slash teacher words. This is gonna suck. Chest hole, dying message, handbook, rec room door, ballroom cloth. Probably rec room door. Whoa. Whoops. Forgot how to change these bullets. I forgot to change three bullets in this. The records don't want us use the password. That's correct. Wow, I lost like all my health. Okay, I should have listened. I should have watched the tutorial again. I forgot how to change the truth bullet. As long as there's evidence of a cart, it should be clear that it was used to transport. But Makaru's argument is not wrong either, whatever it is. Because it's true that the cart was in the records. It's certainly unrealistic to climb on a bed sheet rope with the cart carrying two people, but the cart was still found in the records room. If so, maybe is that evidence I got from someone might be helpful for this. Did I get game overed? I got game overed. Okay. Yes. Oh, I have to go all the way back. This will be a lot easier when I do it on the main original build and I have Kinji's skill. To repick the cart. Door password. Okay. Oh. Yes, the tutorial. Slash. Great. You're not helpful, Zephirum. Kisaragi's. What? Well, dude. Okay, I'll slash them. It's. Oh. There we go. Okay. Huh. Use A. It's A and Z. Cart was used for sure, but it was originally an object in the laboratory. They picked up two people just as you said. You said that they were transport. Would they have used the cloth? Shift. Okay. Have to know the password. Second yellow only round. Yeah, the big problem with there while I was messing up is I forgot the controls to switch truth bullets. And I think they're A and Z. Wait, Mikaru. What if it wasn't actually like that? What? Take a look at this. Do you know what this is? A and Z change bullets. Start with that in notes. (0430). What is this number? Moreover, this is bloody, right? You don't mean... That's right. It's the password to the records. But Maeda, did you know the password? No, I'm still not sure. I haven't been able to check if it is the real password for the records, but I think the chances are high. Where did you find it? When I was investigating, Kurokawa gave it to me. Right, Kurokawa? Please give an answer. And Mikako-chan knew the password? Well, I don't know about that, because Kurokawa also found it in Kisaragi's body. Then there's a possibility that the culprit also got the password from Kisaragi. That's right. If you could go in and out of the records through the front door, wouldn't it be easy to transport people by cart from the lab to the records? Why would they leave it with his body, though? That's incredible, Mannequin. It seems that the method of the crime has been finally grasped, so now if we only could identify the criminal... Is that really true? Yeah, what do you mean, Mikaru? I keep thinking it was suspicious, but I'm getting more and more suspicious now. What are you talking about? Well, it's that the culprit was talking about someone. Yuki Maeda, that's you. Huh? Oh, intermission already. I'm going to pause and restart in a few minutes. Yeah. Okay, I'm back, and this is still weird. I actually didn't really think about this in the meantime. I was unpackaging impact sockets and looking up the recipe for chili that I need to make. I'm not thinking about Danganronpa whatsoever. So we got a new mechanism that I didn't think of where they would have incapacitated both Kurokawa and Kisaragi, killed Kisaragi in front of Kurokawa, through both their incapacitated bodies, although we wouldn't think that Kurokawa would be passed out, she would just be like paralyzed, in the cart and got the password for the door out of Kisaragi's pocket, so to speak, but then put it back in, somehow like gave it back to Kurokawa or something after they were done and didn't just take it with them. There was less evidence behind. And then wheeled them into the records room and somehow stood Kurokawa up in front of Kisaragi holding a knife, and then somehow she wasn't, and somehow like, even though she become unparalyzed just as they did that. It's kind of like ridiculous. Doesn't explain the smell of gunpowder, so doesn't give a mechanism of death. Doesn't explain how the only two people could enter the door at the same time. Yeah, that's the problem. There's a problem with, I think I know what's going to happen. Yuki knows his plan can't be true. Because they can't re-roll Kurokawa and himself pushing the cart into the records room at the same time. They have to go into the records room because with the cart, in order to do the setup, to set up Kurokawa in there, they could theoretically push the cart to the door, then run and climb up the cloth, but would they be able to pull that off? Oh. Pull that off in time? There's a problem here. That could be pointed out by Ray, but only by Ray. I think it's going to come down to, should we tell on ourselves or not, or should we take the fall? Let's see here. Let's try it. And then if we take the fall, if we don't take the fall, then what do? We get a bad ending where Kurokawa dies? You could try that in the original build. Me? The culprit? Why is it like this all of a sudden? To be honest, I've been suspicious of this guy since the incident. However, since the alibis were so difficult for the case itself, I could not make sure with certainty. But Maeda revealing that password was a wrong move. You were with him the entire time. Like, you could argue, oh, well, Teruya went off to check on Kinjo, and Akane went to the lab. But you were in eyeshot of Yuki the entire time, Ray. You went and dug your own grave. No, wait, why would you doubt me? I didn't do anything. If you don't know, I'll tell you. The most difficult issue that bothers us the most is our alibis the whereabouts of Mikako Kurokawa, right? When Mikako Kurokawa went to investigate the 5th floor before Yamato Kisaragi left the dining hall. But the one who said that was Maeda. The rest of us, except for Maeda, have no way of knowing what Mikako Kurokawa was doing. Now you get it? Huh? That means... You mean Maeda-kun lied? Well, what are you talking about? There's no evidence if you're the killer you can manipulate Mikako Kurokawa's whereabouts to your liking. For example, he may have lured Yamato Kisaragi to the 5th floor by falsely claiming that she went to the fifth floor. But she was on the 5th floor though, you found her there in front of Kisaragi's body. But instead, Mikako Kurokawa might have been caught in another place. Why would I do that? There is no benefit. Then what's the notebook with the password on it? You got it from Mikako Kurokawa? Don't you think that's too convenient? If it was handed over to you during the investigation, why didn't you say anything? Because, plot, I don't know, I just told you the truth. If you're suspicious, you can ask Kurokawa. But Mikako trying to sit true. She be not saying. Are you avoiding our eyes, Kurokawa? Either way, there is something else that you're suspicious about. Or that something else that makes you suspicious, but that's a weird grammar thing there. It's technically correct, but suspicious about is ambiguous whether it means that he is being suspicious or that you are suspicious of him. When we all followed Kisaragi to the 5th floor, you were the last one to arrive. In other words, even if we've been together all this time, when you finally arrive at the 5th floor, your alibi disappeared for a very short time. Yes, to give a proper example, it would be possible to go into Kurokawa's private room from the dormitory in the meantime, install the rope in the ballroom, leave the door open, and so on. The whereabouts of the key will need to be discussed in more detail, of course. No, we didn't have time to do that. Hold on a minute, isn't it strange that the sheets were hung up in the ballroom back then? By the time we got to the 5th floor, it was already after the incident, right? It's not weird at all. If you knew the password, you wouldn't have to go into the record room to the hallway. So, in conclusion, the bed sheets in the ballroom was a camouflage. You thought that receiving the password from Mikako Kurokawa would strengthen Mikako's suspicions. It's rather counterproductive to show it here, don't you think? No, why do you think I'm the culprit? I mean, I don't know the password, I really got it from Kurokawa. And as Makaru said, even if you go to the ballroom to leave the door open while you have an alibi for a short time, we don't have an alibi for a short time, the crime itself is impossible, because the incident had already happened when I arrived at the 5th floor. Makaru Maeda is right, no matter how much you prepare to commit a crime, the person who killed in the end becomes the Blackened. Atano used that point to become the Blackened instead of Taira. The person who killed last after preparing everything becomes the Blackened? I see. Teruya, you did a good job. This could also be a reason Maeda is the suspect in reverse. What do you mean? Simply put, they may be accomplices. Maeda, who did the final blow to Kisaragi directly, and Mikako Kurokawa, an accomplice, prepared for the crime. If you do this, the contradiction in this case can also be explained. What if Kurokawa was an accomplice? That can't be. Neither Kurokawa nor me have any reason to kill. And even though Kurokawa can act as an accomplice, it's impossible for me to deliver the final blow to Kisaragi. That's right, because you don't even know the weapon yet. Really? There's no law saying that you have to be there in order to deliver the final strike. It was the same act with the science lab, when Yuhara killed Inori, isn't it? Oh, remote killing, that was it. Well, you can come up with all these ideas, Ray, but you have to show that these ideas actually happened. Yamato Kisaragi's corpse had no ordinary wound. The huge hole was enough to pierce the entire body. Most likely the weapon was a bomb. And bombs are relatively optimal for remote killing. There isn't a single reason for the perpetrator to face the victim. No way, Maeda-kun is the culprit? But there's no contradiction in Mikaru's words. I'm the culprit? How did this happen? Because of showing the password? And why is Kurokawa keeping quiet? It will be difficult if this goes on. I'm not the culprit. If they vote for me like this, everyone will die because of an incorrect answer. I have to prove my innocence at whatever cost for everyone. Isn't absorb? That's different music. Oh, probably not, because there's so many truth bullets. Private room, laboratory meet. Oh my goodness. Mikako Kurokawa is an accomplice, and this case can be explained. Laboratory meet, it can, in a way, rec room. Like the culprit is Mikako Kurokawa, but it's Yuki Maeda who installed the bomb. If she performs all kinds of tricks, and only the final blow is done by Maeda, Yuki Maeda's culprit theory is a certain possibility. Transporting them with anesthetic gas in the cart, which is mentioned earlier, is something Kurokawa. The murder itself was done by Yuki. But why Maeda-kun? The motive is unknown, but it's the most likely explanation. If Yuki and Kurokawa are in cahoots, then they knew the password to the record room, right? Then Yuki decorated the dance hall as if you and Kurokawa going in and out of the records room did all the back work. And for us, he made it look like Mikako Kurokawa was the culprit. He cleverly escaped the charges. Look at the trick, but it had a long tail. Can't be Maeda-kun. Is this yes? Okay, let's read this hint here. I'm the culprit, and Kurokawa is the accomplice. That's ridiculous. Where is the benefit of being an accomplice in the first place? Before that, I have to convince everyone somehow. There must still be facts that I know and the others don't about this case. That might be a clue to an objection. Okay, so it's... Laboratory meet, rec room door. Everyone's alibis. This, okay. She performs kind of tricks. Okay, keep going. Records room door. And I want to hit... So Teruya, 12th line. Wait, that's impossible. It makes no sense to commit the crime in the records room. And what do you mean? If you knew the password, why couldn't you go in? No, there's one thing you guys don't know about the records room. The records room does not open simply by knowing the password. How then? I learned this when the 5th floor door was opened after Satsuki's execution, but there are a few rules regarding access to the records room. First, that only one person can enter the records room. Second is it won't open if someone is already inside. And third, if 2 or more enter at the same time, a bulkhead comes down. Unless you follow this rule, the door will not open even if you enter the password correctly. What the heck are those? I didn't know those rules. Maeda, aren't you lying again to get away from the suspect list? No, this is a fact I heard with Mikaru when we first investigated the 5th floor. Mikaru, I don't think you've forgotten, have you? What Maeda said is true. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but it's probably true since Monokuma informed us. As long as these rules exist, it's impossible for Kurokawa to act as an accomplice. No, not just Kurokawa, it's impossible for anyone. As long as Kisaragi is in the records room, entering or leaving the records room is impossible. Yeah, that does make sense. Maeda-kun is not the culprit. Wait, just because you can't enter through the front door of the records room doesn't mean the possibility of the crime disappears, right? You could have entered through the ballroom. If you can't get in when someone is inside, don't you have to do the groundwork first and then put only Kisaragi in there? No, if it becomes that much trouble, the chances are rather low. They'll be caught up on the 5th floor before they even finish the job. Is that so? It didn't take that long for us to get to the 5th floor. So you're saying that all of the reasoning we've been doing was just a guess? Well, me becoming the culprit and Kurokawa the accomplice, I was shocked because it was so sudden. There's no benefit from being an accomplice, and there was no reason for me to kill. What are you talking about, Maeda? The charges against you have not been resolved yet. What? I obviously heard about the records with you. But I think you forgot one important detail. Do you not remember when we were given the explanation, Monokuma made it clear it checks the heart rate of the person inside in order to limit the entry. Really? So what do you mean? The door does not open when someone is inside, however, the condition doesn't apply if the person inside is a corpse. It's not about distinguishing whether what's in is human, but a human whose heart is beating. Then that means that Kisaragi is already in the record room. It sounds like you can go in and out by yourself if you know the password. Then, am I right, Monokuma? Yeah, that's right. Theoretically, more than 2 people can fit into the archives if the person inside is already dead, or someone who can have their heart stopped on purpose. Well then, do you have anything to object to, Yuki Maeda? I was skeptical at first, but if the evidence supports it up to this point, the only culprit is Yuki. Is this a lie, Maeda-kun? Maeda-kun, you committed a murder? Wait a minute, wait. No, I'm really innocent. Mekaru, think again. Do I really look like a murderer? Look me straight in the eyes and say it. Maya, to be honest, I still have a lot of questions, and I'm not convinced. But there is no answer other than this reasoning. As long as my life is at stake, I can't get involved in trivial emotions. At first, I knew Kurokawa had to be the culprit, yet the actions of leaving evidence on your own hands doesn't explain that kind of behavior. It can't be. No, this isn't... Wait. Kurokawa, don't stay still and say something. You two are being called an accomplice. You're the only one who can prove my innocence. Don't you guys think it's weird too? Originally, she spoke a few words, but in this class trial, Kurokawa's been strangely speechless. It's strange that she doesn't say a word, even when she's being accused of being an accomplice. Well, I do admit that. Kurokawa, I'm begging you, please! If this ends in my death, it will mess everything up. I'm not the culprit, and you're not an accomplice either, so please tell them something. I have a plan, and it's a bit risky, Yuki. You just got it. It's time. It may result in you just getting killed. But, I mean, probably not, because I recognized you had protagonist plot armor. So, I could get away with this. Kurokawa? Stop it, Maeda. I believe it's over now. Yeah, what are you talking about, Mikako-chan? I'm sorry for keeping quiet, but I cannot deceive you anymore. I will tell you all the truth now. Kurokawa? You have a different tone now. It is as you guys guessed. I am the accomplice who caused the murder by helping Yuki Maeda. She's going to succeed with this, I think. I think she's going to succeed. Kurokawa is just going to trick everybody into oblivion. Huh? What? Kurokawa? What are you talking about now? Yuki, you instructed me not to say anything. But it seems there is no more escape now. Wait a moment. He told you not to talk, and you're not using your slow tone as usual? What kind of change is this all of a sudden? I don't know what to say, because it's unfair to me. But I'm one of the victims. Yuki did something to me. I felt threatened. I had no choice but to do as Yuki told me. What? What? Nonsense, Maeda-kun. Threatened by Maeda? Hold on, so that means you were intimidated by Yuki Maeda, so you had no choice but to help in the crime, and you were accused of committing a crime against yourself, and you were used as much as he could. But after our reasoning, when Yuki Maeda was put in the corner, did you mean that you decided to betray Yuki Maeda? We seem no longer likely to win and tell the truth? Yes. If Yuki loses the trial, I will live, and Yuki will be executed. If that's the case, it's okay, even if you catch the blackened. If so, why didn't you reveal it in the first place? I was scared. Yuki's terrifying fear was imprinted in me. I couldn't open my mouth. And at the time of the incident, according to Yuki's plan, I was accused of being the culprit. I thought you wouldn't believe me if I insisted like that. Well, that's for certain. In that position, if you claim that someone else is the culprit, your suspicion would only increase. Now it's all over. Maeda's disappointment is so great that he doesn't even have the energy to speak anymore. Let's finish this. Voting time. Wait! Something is wrong. Mikako-chan is being strange and everything is weird. Can't we think about it again? Let's talk about it a little more. Is this an absorb? Okay, non-stop. Oh yeah, we're absorbing. Okay. Wait a minute, something is wrong with this. It's not. Now that the accomplice came out, in fact. Oh, it's fast now. You're not convinced. Yuki Maeda is the killer. So X is absorb, isn't it? But what about the weapon? We don't even know what the weapon is. We already explained it's a remotely operating a bomb or something of that sort. We might absorb that. But even if it was a real bomb, it would have difficult to... If that's the case, it's possible even if you're not Maeda-kun. Even if it's the installation of the bomb, it's impossible to leave your private room wide open. The rest of us didn't even knew the password. Above all else, Kurikawa herself admitted it to be an accomplice. Stop it, Akane. As you guys said, Maeda's set up a bomb on the 5th floor yesterday. This is the truth. But which one do I absorb? What did I do? I don't get it. I don't get what I did there. I don't know. But I like shot and absorbed and stuff. Okay. Wait, Maeda-kun is not the killer. How long are you gonna stick up for him? We're not the ones who give the answer. What? It's the evidence and the reasoning. The evidence is showing the answer. No, you guys said it, didn't you? Maeda-kun was the one who installed the bomb and gave the final blow. but it's impossible for Maeda-kun to install anything. Why? If Maeda-kun did install something, he must have done it the day before the incident, right? But yesterday, the day before the incident, I was on the 5th floor from morning until night. I searched every room as hard as I could. What did you say? Don't lie to us. Or... No, it's not 100% reliable, but it's credible. I also saw Tyra on the 5th floor for a long time yesterday, and she testified that even when the incident with Hinjo occurred, she came late to her private room by herself, and that she was on the 5th floor all day. However, no one came to the 5th floor until I came down after completing the investigation, and there was no sign of anything installed, which means no one, including Maeda-kun, did anything on the 5th floor the day before. How can you guarantee that? You may have missed it, or you might have gone from one place for a while. Wrong. Of course, I know my research skills are poor, but I can distinguish to a degree when a person's chest has been messed up. I admit, it's my fault for acknowledging that you were desperately examining the 5th floor yesterday knowing that you did. All day. It's a pity we can't prove it. But apart from this, I want to ask, why? Why are you covering for Miyuki Maeda so much, even though she already admitted that they're an accomplice and that he's the culprit? That's because, I don't know, it's strange for Maeda-kun to be the culprit like this. It is because Maeda is the culprit. Tyra, do you have sympathy? That guy threatened me and made me an accomplice. Maeda-kun. Pro-tag up. Maeda-kun, calm down and answer me. You didn't do anything wrong, did you? Yuki Maeda, keep your mind up. Calm down and look into my eyes. You didn't do anything wrong. Akane. Yes, look me in the eyes and tell me. You are not the culprit. You are not a culprit. Maeda-kun didn't do anything the day before the incident. But Kurokawa. Are you the culprit? No! Just tell me that! I, a culprit? I threatened Kurokawa and killed Kisaragi? No, I didn't do anything. It's not me who's weird, it's Kurokawa. I am not the culprit. Maeda-kun? There is something weird. I swear I didn't do anything. It's not me who's suspicious, it's Kurokawa. What's going on? As Akane testified, I have no memory of installing anything on the 5th floor, nor of threatening Kurokawa. But it's also true that Kurokawa said that she was going to the 5th floor before breakfast this morning. Unless he was killed by some kind of remote method. At this point, even Maeda cannot commit the crime. That's right, Maeda-kun is not the culprit. On the contrary, Mikako-chan, who suddenly gave us a strange testimony with such a frightening face, is very suspicious. The eye roll. I think one of them must be lying. But who would that be? Akane, I'm sorry. Thanks to you, I woke up. It's all thanks to you. It's no big deal. No need to apologize. That's ugly, Maeda. Do you even want to kill us and go outside too? What? Because of your unusual behavior, the others took care of you and defended you. I hope you like that. But I'm not succumbing to your threats. I'll uncover the truth with everyone and execute you. What? Why are you doing this, Mikako-chan? Tyra, as you said, it looks like Maeda didn't do anything the day before, but it was at night time that Maeda placed the bomb on the 5th floor. What? Maeda secretly installed the bomb at nighttime, so he could only do the kill the day before the incident. It's a fact that I heard directly from Maeda. It's all true. I carried out your reasoning, and the kill itself was done by Maeda. Kurokawa, you really... If that's true, Yuki is the culprit. Akane only camped on the 5th floor until nighttime. As Kurokawa said, in the end, Yuki really installed the bomb. No, we follow the nighttime rule. Nighttime rule, you know that talking about that it's useless, right? We've been discussing nighttime at the class trials many times up until now. Without that coercion, our big alibis are completely useless. Oh no, Maeda-kun. I desperately believe that Maeda-kun is not the culprit. I've used my head to the limit to defend him. But, if we come all this way to this... Akane, it's not me. Give up, Maeda. As long as I betrayed you as an accomplice, you can escape, no matter what you do. I fully acknowledge the crime. Hold on. Kimikako Kurokawa, aren't you a little weird? What? It's too aggressive. Obviously, as you said, you became a criminal. You must have been a victim of threats. Right now, the situation between you and Maeda is, on the contrary, putting pressure on Maeda to the point where you call him a villain. That's how much my anger towards Maeda turned up. What he did to me, I'll tell you that detail after Maeda's execution. I wonder, who will be executed after a bit more time? What? Ray-chan, what do you mean? Mikako Kurokawa has testified a little while ago. During the day, it was impossible to set up the bomb because Taira, but... It wasn't during the day, but at nighttime. That is a lie. What? Kurokawa's side was lying? Maeda, Taira, and Otori, I must say I feel pity for you guys. From the day I decided to form a cooperative relationship with you, I've been imitating Kinjo's idea and monitoring you. Kinjo's idea? Uh-huh. I put a thread on you every night to check your alibis during nighttime hours, just like he did during Atano's class trial. Then Maeda-kun. About Maeda-kun going to the 5th floor at night. Yeah, that's a lie. Yesterday at nighttime, Maeda's room was still. He did not come out of his room at nighttime. So what? Why are you lying if you're the accomplice? Well, perhaps the premise for being an accomplice was wrong. You mean, not an accomplice, an innocent person trying to escape by blaming me? They might be the real culprit. Ah. Seriously? Kurokawa is the culprit? Like I've been saying this whole time! That's ridiculous! True, at the beginning of the trial, you said that you would be none other than Kurokawa. That's it. At first that was, jumping over the edge. Wait. Mikako-chan? I am not the culprit. The culprit is Maeda. What a joke. If you'd rather stayed still, you testified that he moved at nighttime. I heard it directly from Maeda. But the work I did on the door proves that it's false. Maeda didn't do anything. That's it. Maeda also knew that the thread was actually attached. He also went out and restitched the thread. That's interesting. I put a thread at the exact 3.5 m position. 3.5 meter position on those 3 visiting mills. You mean those 3 private rooms. So you're telling me he knew exactly that and reattached it at the same place, right? That's right. Maeda calculated the exact height to which the thread was attached and reattached it at 3.5 centimeters or meters or whatever. It's a lie to say it's 3.5 centimeters, you fool. To fall into such a simple trap, are you still lying? Kurokawa, why? In order to drive me to be the culprit? Noisy, noisy, noisy. I am not the culprit. Why is this happening? I can't die here. Mikako? You? Is this the Kurokawa Mikako we know? No, I can't be the culprit. Stop, please. Stop asking me. Kurokawa? Is this like a Genocide Jack moment? I'm not the killer. A rebuttal showdown. I am not the culprit. I am not the culprit. I am not the culprit! Kisaragi's dying message. What about Kisaragi's dying message? I am not the killer. I am not the killer. This is probably gonna have some trick or twist to it, right? It's just gonna go indefinitely. Shift. Oh. Kurokawa? Well, he's the easiest rebuttal showdown ever. Trivial. One bullet. One option. Kurokawa, unfortunately, I have one more piece of evidence that says you were the culprit. Stop it. It's this, the dying message, with the letters Mikako written in blood on the lab. This is the proof that you were the culprit. There was a dying message? If there was such a thing, you should have told us sooner. I'm sorry, I only doubted Maeda. I couldn't tell, because no matter who you look at, Kurokawa is the only one who could have committed the crime, because there's such obvious evidence left behind that we thought she wasn't the killer. In that situation, the dying message put to Kurokawa gives a rather odd idea that she wasn't the culprit. Yeah, but now things have changed. Maeda, who we thought was the culprit, is actually completely impossible to commit the crime, because Mikako Kurokawa started to say gibberish. In some ways, she might even be more daring and smarter than the other criminals, because you left a lot of evidence that anyone could say it was you, so you rather escape the suspicion very, very cleverly. Right, this is something I thought of, right? It could have been like, you know, I don't know if I said it, I probably did, where like she sets herself up to make it, and to make her look looks like someone set up, she poorly set herself up to make it look like someone poorly set her up. It's a reinforced version of what Satsuki came out at the same time the trial started in the previous one. Came out at. Isn't that too much of a guess? The only culprit in the world saying they're our culprit and leaving the evidence so openly. It's not a guess, it actually worked. She left the suspect line and waited for our reasoning to reach its peak so that one innocent victim is pointed out in the end. If you reach this stage, you will self-proclaim to be the accomplice role who became a victim. They didn't let the person who was identified as the culprit to even gamble. But this was thanks to him, Maeda, who did nothing wrong, became the culprit. My apologies, Maeda. No, there's no need for apologies. But it's really Kurokawa, the murderer? Unbelievable. Actually, I thought it was too difficult to go back. Because Kurokawa also had a good motive. A motive? Think about what motive Monokuma came up with this time. Monokuma introduced the transfer student named Yamato Kisaragi and said that he was the motive itself. And the reaction of Mikako Kurokawa as soon as she saw the transfer student was unique. Watching that reaction had nothing to do with Yamato Kisaragi, it was Monokuma's reaction. How about that? Now it's you who's cornered Mikako Kurokawa. I have a lot to ask you before you die, so you better answer to us. Wait, I can't die. If I die, I must not die here. You can't die? What do you mean by that? Don't worry about that, it's just the culprit's ramblings. No. No. You can't do this, you guys. What's wrong? Not yet. There's a problem left to be solved. What? If I am the culprit, how did I leave open my own door then? Besides, you don't even know the exact material the weapon was made of. This is annoying. Even if we don't know such trivial things, it's already certain that you are the culprit. No, I'm sorry, but that's what we said. Leaving the private room door wide open, aside from other things. I can't die now. I can't die like this. If you can't solve that mystery, you can't admit that I'm the culprit. Do we have to come all this way here and guess again? Assuming that Mikako Kurokawa is the culprit, if we look back at the case, we might find something we've missed. We better come up with a complete answer. I'll do my best with my brain going all out. Kurokawa. Then, now that the alibi problem has been resolved, the most urgent problem is the murder weapon. Nope, leave it until there. Time's up. It's time to vote. Very reminiscent of Chapter 5 of Trigger Happy Havoc. Very reminiscent. Time's up. Remember Time's Up? I think it's going to be way darker this time, though. Way darker. Way darker. Way darker. I think she's... Oh, dear. What? This is not going to be that... that fairy tale ending like Trigger Happy Havoc, is it? I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be bad. We're literally out of time. It seems that the discussion was not over, but unfortunately this class trial is over. What is this? Are you kidding me now? This has never happened before. I'm not kidding, are you? Either way, time's over. Class trial is over. We are closed. Ding, ding, ding. No. Wait, something is wrong here. I can't admit this. This is not true. Are you sure? I thought I only died once, but okay. Whatever you say.
Well, anyway, time over is time over. It's your own fault for sticking around for so long. Anyway, did you get the results? It can't do much, so please vote with the switch in front of you based on what you've deduced so far. Oh yeah, I'm stressed once again. Invalid votes are an immediate punishment. I can't tolerate it, understand? Then, as a result of this vote, who becomes the blackened? The answer, will it be the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Now, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
So my original guess was the mastermind. This isn't necessarily wrong yet. Kurokawa may get executed, but that doesn't necessarily mean she did it.
Good. The vote ended unanimously. The blackened chosen was... The correct answer, Mikako Kurokawa. She was the blackened who killed the victim, Yamato Kisaragi.
Correct answer? The culprit who killed Kisaragi was Kurokawa? Of course, we had to come to that conclusion, but what is this indescribable feeling? No, it shouldn't be like this. Something like this should never have happened.
Now, shall we go straight away with the punishment time?
What? No, wait a minute, aren't you in a hurry? At least give us a little time to talk. No. Why? Now then. But we left that little bit of hongo right there. Now then.
I've prepared a special punishment for Mikako Kurokawa, the super high school level exorcist.
Wait, as Maeda-kun said, you were in too much of a hurry. Didn't you give us time to, like in previous trials?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, the culprit has been turned, so I'm just gonna execute them. Well, there's something I don't understand. What's with the timeout? Can we send away Kurokawa like this? Kurokawa killed Kisaragi. Perhaps this is true, but Monokuma admitted that it was the correct answer. However, something is strange. After the character of Yamato Kisaragi appeared, something has obviously been twisted. In this murder, class trial, Monokuma, Kurokawa, everything is twisted like a toothed cog. If this is the way it ends, if we let Kurokawa go without saying anything... Wait a minute! Himikako Kurokawa, come down and answer. What is your identity? Tell us. What do you know? Rei-chan? For this moment, I don't give a damn if you're a murderer or anything. You obviously know something. You've been avoiding us all along, saying that you can't tell us, but are you really satisfied with that? Would you really be satisfied if you die doing nothing like this? When you drove Maeda like a rapid-fire gun, you had guts. I mean, say it like that. Say it like that time. Don't you guys like that too? If this woman dies like this, we might miss the chance to know the truth for the rest of our lives. Mikaru? Without knowing anything in my life, I don't even know why we have to do this. We're going to stay here forever? I hate that. Kurokawa, I ask you from me as well, please, if you know something, can you please tell us? Mikako-chan? I'm afraid it's no use anyway, because Miss Kurokawa can't say anything. What? I mean, literally, so don't exhaust yourself, and let's get to punishment time quickly now. Wait. Mikako Kurokawa, no, Mikako, we all know things have gotten weird, including you, since we left the ballroom. Whether you knew it, whether you committed murder, even if you're the mastermind, hope was handed to you by Satsuki. That's why, if you believe in hope, anime power-up time! Please tell me, I'm begging you, like this, please. Yeah, Mikako anime powers up. Here we go. Oh boy, what the people say? Can't you understand the bear? It's no use! Here we go. I. Conk. Mikako-chan? Well, no matter, just give up and take the penalty already. No. I want to say. Mikako? Oh, wait a minute. I want to tell you everything I knew, but I couldn't. I wanted to tell you, but it was all too much. But now I'm going to go beyond life and death and pass it on to you guys. I'll tell you no matter what happens to me. If it ends like this, if I die without telling anything, then I won't be able to face Yamato-ni. Mikako, you... Miss Kurokawa, it's really dangerous. Are you willing to die? Then I won't be able to punish you. I can't say the details, but you said I could die here, right? Thanks to Yuki and everyone. Listen, this is a trap of the mastermind. I believe in you guys. It wasn't a long time, but you guys became my friends. Believe in yourself. God believes in the hope you have in yourself. Hope. Hope never falls to despair. It was just that moment. Mikako, who didn't speak softly and slowly as usual, but suddenly changed and didn't appear to be like she was when she accused me of being the culprit. It was a reaction to the limit release. I heard a sound splat coming from her head. She literally fell apart. Mekaru, I have to tell you about it. The mastermind has been with us in all our events.
That's the key. Mikako-chan? This girl has died. What? Mikako is dead? I knew since Kurokawa was the culprit who killed Kisaragi, the execution was definitive, and we knew she was going to die soon. But before being executed, the more she spoke, the more she collapsed, and then she dies? It was clearly strange for anyone to see. At the beginning, this case itself, the class trial itself felt very strange. But more importantly, in the end, I couldn't hear anything from Kurokawa, and she left us. You really are a stupid woman. You cut off your own lifeline. At one time, I really wanted to know what was going on, but she ended up stopping at the final part. I feel sorry for you guys. Well, to be honest, even if she does say it, it doesn't concern much to me. This woman, Mikako said at the end that the mastermind is in our group. Mikako, as I expected, no, maybe not, she may have known a lot more than us. Monokuma, who the hell was Kurokawa? The Hiragi Foundation. What the hell is the truth? There's no way Monokuma can tell you that. And what is more certain now is, in the end, Kisaragi and Kurokawa, who may have held the key to our situation in the end, means they left without hearing anything, without us hearing anything. Then, Kurokawa's identity, the identity of the mastermind, the identity of the Kisaragi Foundation has not been fully uncovered. Even the truth behind this murder. We are only facing the consequences of an empty shell. Damn it. Yes, we remain unconvinced. Process disappeared, only results remained. Anyway, I gave a short break, but, well, shall we start now? My heart is pounding loudly, and loudly. Punishment time! Oh, what? What's wrong? It's punishment time. What does that mean? Kurokawa's already dead. Oh, we gotta beat up the corpse! Does that matter? Whether you live or die, you have disturbed the order, and you should be punished. Punishment is not just a punishment, it's called an example. Can't you stop? You will be blasting even the dead? No, this is a rule. You guys have seen Miss Kurokawa's atrocities, didn't you? She is a villain who tried to survive by overturning the sins of an innocent and good boy Maedeken. That wicked woman. I know, that Kurokawa was the culprit, and she even yelled at me harshly. But something is strange. I said Yuki in said Yuki's line in a kind of a, Monokuma-ish voice. About this class trial, Monokuma's words and actions are strange. Kurokawa said at the end that this was a trap by the mastermind. As Maeda said, this case is very strange. Monokuma, in our eyes, looks like you are anxious to kill Mikako. Huh? And when he introduced Kisaragi-kun, Mikako-chan collapsed bleeding. Monokuma didn't even try to help. You don't mean all of this was a conspiracy? Whatever the case, Miss Kurokawa killed Kisaragi-kun and became the Blackhead. It's my judge as headmaster to punish the Blackhead. Therefore, the Blackhead disrupted the order. I have prepared a special punishment for the super high school level exorcist Mikako Kurokawa. Wait, Monokuma, stop talking. Now then, let's give it everything we've got. We've already dead it in a corpse state. We're not in the best shape, but, Monokuma, answer the questions. Let's go hard anyway. Punishment time. Monokuma! I wonder why this is so long. So it's a full minute. Monokuma is what that says. Runaway train Ghost Rider. Okay. "19 seconds. The length of this is suspicious. It's so long. Two. One. And it does not blow up. She not dead, folks! I know what that means. What? A power outage? I knew it being that long, a minute-long timer, it was gonna mean something. I'm gonna pause, though. Okay, I'm back. I can't see anything. What happened to Mikako-chan? Hey, Monokuma, what happened? Monokuma is dead. Hey, don't pretend you can't hear me. Answer. He's out. Mekaru? What is this? He just stopped. What? By the way, didn't something like this happen during a class trial not long ago? Mikako-chan said that if Monokuma stops operating, all facilities will top 2. All facilities will stop also. But there wasn't a power outage back then, was there? What in the world happened? In the end, there's something strange about this case. Just like this blackout right now, I don't think this is normal. Just what the hell is happening? Kisaragi's appearance. Kurokawa's murder case. Power failure. Monokuma's stop. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely strange. Everything seems a back and forth contradiction. Monokuma doesn't seem to wake up. What should we do? You guys? Well... I just arrived. It's already too late. Kinjo, you have no idea what you're getting into. What the hell are you? How can you move? Kinjo-kun? Did someone get body swapped? We'll talk more later. We can't afford that now. Yuki, Makaru, Teruya, and you, is that what you say after waking up, putting on a suicide show like that? Do you have anything else to say? Makaru, where's Kisaragi and Kurokawa? What, huh? How do you know who Kisaragi is? Suddenly, why? Wait, Kisaragi's portrait is here. Is that so, they're both dead. Kijo, what the hell happened? How do you wake up? What is the situation now? As I just said, we'll do that later. To put things very simply, I remembered everything. I came here to save you guys. Oh! Blew those little bits of skull into that brain, and it happened to remove something that was removing something. You remember? You don't mean you're pretty well alive, but it seems it's over. It's over yet to turn things around. I will protect you. Or not over yet. Right, not over yet? From the heinous mastermind. What are you doing putting us here? You guys are being deceived. We have to get away from that girl right now. And Mikako got right in her face and said, like, this is not what Hatano would have wanted from you. He's saying that she knew that Akane was the mastermind the whole time. This is not what Mikako would have done. This is what Mikako said, but this is not what he would have done. Not what she would have done. I mean, Mikako knew that Akane was the mastermind. It's not what she would have done to her. Interesting. Eh? Huh? Kijo, what's wrong? That girl is... It's that girl. The one who's kept the 15 of us imprisoned. Made us stay here. The criminal who made this murder game. The mastermind of everything. Akane Taira. What are you talking about, Kinjo-kun? Don't call my name with that dirty mouth. Check. Akane is the mastermind behind everything? Wait a minute, Kinjo. Are you misunderstanding something? Yuki is right. There's no way Akane could be the mastermind. Ray knows. No, it's you, not me, who has misunderstood. Well, it's not unreasonable after all. You did that to us. But that's why I'll definitely protect you guys from this heinous criminal. Kinjo, why are you doing this? Is it because of me stabbing Kizuna-chan? That's the case, there's nothing I could do to argue with you, but still to call me a mastermind. Kizuna? That's pretty cute compared to what you did. Kinjo, what are you saying? I had no idea what Kinjo's been saying. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Are you going to keep going? Fine then. But can you still do that after hearing this? Ultimate super high school level despair. Super high school level despair? Akane? It was a cry like a beast. After panicking and denying Kinjo for a while, she suddenly began to grab her head, screaming like something out of this world. Her screams were growing louder. More. More. It was a terrifying scream. The lights come on! Despair has changed. Everything? Ah, it's refreshing. It feels like something that has been blocked. It's just opened. Was just opened. Ah, there's no problem with my memory, just as that person said. I think it was very successful. It must have been a hellish days to breathe without thinking of that person. I'm really sorry, Akane Taira. Huh? You? Who are you? Oh, who am I? This is Akane Taira. Whoopsie, this is our first time meeting. Then I should give you a formal greeting. The super high school level maid. No, wait, that's a mistake. This is the super high school level despair, Akane Taira. Please take good care of me, Maeda-sama, Kinjo-sama, Mikaro-sama, Otori-sama. Title card! Oh, wait a minute. Am I the only one who can't keep up with this situation now? You, Akane Taira? Akane? The mastermind? We didn't know each other just yesterday, but this morning we were together for a very short time, and I can tell. I know that Maeda-kun is a good person. Only from Maeda-kun. I didn't want to hear that from Maeda-kun. Actually, I want to apologize sooner. I'm sorry. The reason I asked you to dance is because I thought I could be able to talk like this. I'm really sorry. Maeda-kun, keep your mind up. Calm down and look into my eyes. You didn't do anything wrong. That Akane was the mastermind of everything. Ah, it looks like the power is returned. It's the spare power. Is the spare power turned on? Oh, I'm gonna die. Hey, suddenly the bear house is thrown down. I don't like this facility at all. Monokuma? Okay, so is the execution gonna finish? Or are we gonna get that anime power-up that we thought was gonna happen, but didn't really, it was kind of like an anti-anime power-up where she just died? Monokuma. It's been a long time. Monokuma. It's been a long time? What's that sound? Yeah. Miss Taira, surely not. Your return? I sure did. You've been through a lot. What is this situation? This is called Danganronpa, Mr. Teruya. This isn't a dream, is it? It is not a dream, and Monokuma is moving separately on the subject of the mastermind. You have revealed your true colors. This time I will definitely protect everyone. Oh my, Kinjo-sama, now is the time to say that. Since I woke up, the killing school life is no more. Asking Monokuma-sama to dispose of each one of you is a breeze. Disposal is what I'd like to say, but that wouldn't be much fun, would it? Besides, I still have an appointment with a certain person. So, I'll give you a chance to stand in the final stage. A wonderful stage to decorate the finale. The situation in front of the eyes is incomprehensible, unfolding at the same speed of light. I just stood idly by, Akane, C8, looking at the person who was Akane Taira. I have become frozen. Yes. I'll read a couple lines into this. Da. Da. Maeda, right? Maeda. Flashback, right? Seriously, it's almost time for school. What are you doing sleeping? Our teacher will be here very soon, so get up. By the way, you often dozed off during class, right? You came to home speak with good luck, so you should try more harder, don't you think so? Where is this? What are you talking about? It's a classroom. Are you really awake? Maeda had a nightmare in your sleep too? Haha. I let my laugh a little. Sorry. But don't worry, Maeda is strong, because you're a big man. Keep your chin up. Kako, lower your voice. Do you have to be so loud all the time? Sorry. Anyway, Maeda, are you okay? Haruhiko wants to play with the group today. Well, why should you? Well, Maeda rarely hangs out with us and is all alone. That and you have a very lonely expression. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not a good to force yourself too much. But if you change your mind, please tell me. There's no problem even if you join later. Okay? By the way, Yamato-kun is late. What's going at Hanzo's funeral? It's been 2 weeks already. You didn't hear anything, Maeda? Probably not. Well, there's no choice but to wait. The teacher seems to be late too. Maeda, would you like some cream bread? I have one left. Don't want it? Well, what a ruthless guy. Tell me when you're hungry, I'll give it to you. You can't sleep again. Oh, can I save from this? No, I can't. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, for some reason I can't save in this situation. Yuki, what's up? Want to play together? If that's the case, we should tell the others right away. Oh, and by the way, there's a delicious shortcake house in front of the station. That's not it? Well, it's a shame. It would have been fun to play with Yuki. Or hang out, right? You want some cream puffs? Don't want any? Why not, stupid? Okay, so you gotta check all of these off, and then the plot advances. We have to get Akane. What's wrong with Anakin? What, do you have something to say? Then don't speak, I have something to think about right now. This is a big deal, I feel like the demo is getting serious. Yame-sama, are you okay? I'm fine. Am I that obvious? It's true, I'm getting worse. Recently, even the use of the playground has been banned to me. It's really hard for me not to be able to run. There's an indoor gym, right? It's okay with Ayame-sama. I'll be with you. It's fine, I have an appointment with Kobashikawa the other day, so please ask me tomorrow. After school, I haven't moved for a while and my muscles are getting stiff. Yeah, by the way, Akane, what's up with those respectful words in Ayame-sama? It's really uncomfortable every time I hear it with friends. Yes, I'm sorry. As much as this can be seen as a burden, then I'll try harder to be conscious about it. Now, you don't have to overdo it. I'm sorry on my side. Please do as you feel comfortable. Maeda? Since when have you been here? I didn't notice you at all. I'm sorry, did you have something to say? It's not that. Maybe you're upset that I ignored you. It often happens. I'm sorry. Kanata, a little bit softer. Cannot. Be patient, even if it hurts a little. Bacteria could get in. Oh, I hate being sick. Maeda, what's the matter? Kakeru, don't be shy. Sorry. Maeda suddenly spoke to me. I was so surprised. Do you have something to say? We didn't talk much. Hey, I'm smiling. You're smiling like this, so free. I'm smiling like this, so free to ask anything. This wound? Oh, it's no big deal. It was just some students from the pre-preparatory department. My senior seems to be having some troubles with his preparatory students, so I tried to mediate by stopping them. Anyway, you be careful too, Maeda. You've been sloppy lately. That, and I'm glad you talked to me. Maeda hardly ever talks to any of us. You can talk to me anytime you wish. Seriously, how did you get hurt like this? Sorry, a little conflict with students in the preparatory department. Again, still, I'm nervous because the demo activities have been intense lately. You should try to be careful. Sorry, I'll be careful. Yuki, do you want to speak to me? Sorry, I think this is actually the first time Yuki spoke to me. So what happened? I have to treat Kakeru's leg first. So if it's short... Oh, it's nothing special. Okay. Hey, Yuki. I told you when we first met, but if you ever get hurt, please tell me. Because you're my classmate, too. You go lend me some money. What's this out of the blue? I want to change my phone. I need to buy some clothes and buy a new bag too. Tomori, I just lent you the other day and you haven't returned it yet. And wasn't that just a gift? Where in this world can you consider someone who gives you 100,000, the point's probably supposed to be common yen. You dare call that a gift? Go scram. I don't lend you anymore until you give it back. Wait, you salty bastard, you're a jerk who earns millions, not a few thousands. Maeda, what's going on? Normally you ignore all my calls. That's just fine, Maeda. Look at me and lend me some money. 50,000 should be enough. Since you have enough money, it doesn't really matter to you, right? You don't have mine either? That's no fun. Now, since this is kind of bullying, I won't force you. Now, what do I do? If don't buy the new product soon, others of my age will be the first to brag about it in their blogs. Should I ask Akane or Kyoka? No, I'll feel sorry for asking too much. Maeda, you still there? Here, well, I haven't talked much with you. But if you're bored, you can talk to me, Maeda. Your look is quite sad, so I'll make you cute, if you like that too. That's boring. Why isn't the teacher here yet? What are you doing here so suddenly? What's your name again? I see Maeda. Do you have some business? Weird guy, doesn't matter. Yeah, I didn't say much, but I'm bored right now. So I asked you to chat with me. Check this out. The other day, Netizens' reaction to the goal video I scored in the Youth National Evaluation match in the last game. He's a Japanese Messi in a way. Hey, say something. No funny guy. No wonder you don't have friends. But whatever, since we're classmates I need to remain friendly. We can even play soccer together sometimes. Wait, over there. This idiot, why'd you do that there? What, it's Kobazing's fault. Shut it, I'm done. What is this couple game? It's a couple crushing game. Actually, it's only you both that don't look much like a couple at all. What, Maeda? Did you need something? That's nothing. Well, if it doesn't matter much... hey, can I ask you a question? If you have time after today, would you like to play together or hang out till almost everyone will come? Tell me something. Am I the only one who's awkward now? What, you want to speak to me? Wow, well, will the sun rise in the west tomorrow? Say, Maeda, why do you always avoid us? I don't know what everyone thinks, but Maeda looks like you're suffering in my eyes. Yeah, it's difficult to say something like this all of a sudden, but it would be nice to talk with everyone someday. Then I'll take you to the amusement park. Do you like amusement parks? No response, huh? Kisuke, my brother Kisuke gave me 2 movie tickets. For real? Thank you. When should we say our greetings? Greetings, Kobazing. I'm already trying to put that plan into action. What, you idiot? That's not what it means. It's not what I hate it, of course, but that's not what I mean now. You know anything? You know how annoying you are right now? Oh, Yuki, it's Satsuki's... Is Satsuki visible today? No, you always ignore Satsuki, so Yuki doesn't see me at all. Still, what's wrong? I feel ignored again. Did Satsuki become a ghost too? Maeda, surprising. It's unusual for you to approach others first. No, there's nothing wrong with that, because communication is free for everyone. I'm not in a position to talk like that. So, do you wish to speak to me? Is that so? If it doesn't matter... Say, Maeda, I wonder... But is there something you're worried about? Perhaps you feel anxiety about the future to come. Yes, and hesitation on your own mind and heart. No, rather than hesitation, indifference. Well, it's nothing. I'm just guessing your mind. There's no basis for it. Just my way of interpretation. Maeda, I don't know how to say this, but how about showing a little more interest in the others? I'm not good at socializing either, but I'm trying to overcome this. I plan to attend today's meeting. My apologies. It must have sounded like a sermon to you. We're not even close friends. I had no intention of forcing you, so do what you feel is right. Maeda, what's wrong? Me? I was trying to contact Kisaragi, but I can't seem to reach him either. But it shouldn't be a major concern. I don't think it should be I should be worried over nothing. Just that if he doesn't come back, it's difficult to play chess like this. I want to win at least once against him. But what happened? It's rare for you to say anything. Today something is different in your expression. Is that so? I'm glad that it's not a big deal. Maeda, you, me. Do you hate our classmates? I think it's selfish to say this, but I really like you guys. Because I have changed since I met you all. So much that it could be a turning point in my life. It's laughable, really, and it may be selfish, but I hope everyone gets along well. Even if we continue to have fun and get older. No, sorry for suddenly saying this. Still, Maeda, you're not being honest with yourself, aren't you? Your eyes always look sad. Hey, Dad, are the things you ordered last time roughly sorted out? Yes, I know. Then I'll go there this weekend. This time Maeda? It's just a friend I was talking to. Dad, just wait for me. What's up? You're looking everywhere now. Oh, it's okay. Just a normal conversation with my father, who I call 3 times a day. Also, didn't you hate us? Well, I want to be your friend, but there's no way he's there. Anyway, I'm on a call now, so I'll see you later. If it's okay with you, we can go together later and play with the others, or hang out with the others, whatever you want to say. Really? No, I like you, but still, I was surprised. For you to talk to me. Let's go hang out when we have time later. What really bothers me about the talkativeness of Mikako is that she was not talkative at all in the introductions, which appeared to happen before the flash forward, before the memory loss. That's weird. Maeda-sama, if this is the case, there are more things that you shouldn't do no matter what. If you find yourself in a situation where you must do it, what would Maeda-sama do? If it were me... Chapter 0. One day in the classroom. Yes. A dream. What's going on? Everyone who died. More than that, why was I sleeping? I recall I was... What? It was her. Class trial in the murder case of Kisaragi ended in an incomprehensible way. Just before Kurokawa was to be chosen as the culprit, she executed herself. And then Kinjo, who suffered a head injury, broke into the courtroom. He remembered everything and told us the mastermind of all of this was... The mastermind out of everyone else. Why? Does it have to be the pretty girl? Because that's how it is. Danganronpa. Akane. Did you call me? Oof! Ah! Oh my, Maeda-sama. There's no need to be so surprised. You are... Why are you showing up in my bed? You don't remember? Oh dear. Maeda-sama forcibly dragged me into his bed last night, and we went to sleep. Thanks to you, it was hot last night. What a ridiculous joke. Well, it's like you said, I'm joking. Maeda-sama suddenly passed out at the end of the class trial. Passed out? Kinjo-sama revealed my true identity while holding his pants nicely. So the shock was so immense that you hit the floor. You know, I was a little sassy. Identity? I got caught up in this girl's pace without knowing it. I remember clearly now. This girl in front of my eyes is the super high school level despair, Akane Taira. You just woke up and you still don't understand the situation? I can tell you over and over again until you get used to it. The mastermind of everything, Akane Taira. Stop it. The mastermind of everything, Akane Taira. I told you to stop, you witch and Taira. There's no way they're the same person. Akane, I've been so strong with you by my side. Akane Taira, who became my hope. There is none else. What? Because this is the real me that Maeda-sama knew. That stupidly bright one that all those reactions and emotions were all fake. This is Akane Taira. In fact, you know it too, don't you remember? Damn it. Damn you. Well, even if you don't like it, you'll find out soon. This talk is over, come on. Do some workout when you're ready, since Maeda-sama passed out and blew one day away. Day? Didn't I told you yesterday I'll give you a chance? I'll prepare the stage where you could try your last struggle. But since Maeda-sama was in a fainted condition, we can't proceed, so I was hiding in your bed until you woke up. Don't be funny. I can't still believe that you are Akane. Just stop this. I'm too lazy to explain. Please go to the dining hall and talk to the others. I have something to prepare. Wait, what? Wait? What kind of movement? She's not human. Can I... Why? There's no way a woman like that is Akane. Even though Akane is not with us anymore. Why do I feel like I'm missing something? There's also that dream. There have been several times that I have realized that I have been given nightmares while staying here for the past few weeks, but unlike the past, I've forgotten right away. I barely remember the dream I had just moments ago. It can't be. No, this is just overthinking. Let's go to the dining hall first. Akane... Now, according to that strange woman, everyone is at the dining hall. Oh, yes, okay, so I can save. Okay, Kinjo, Teruya, and Mikaru. Hello, everyone. Maeda, you're here. You've been sleeping all day, seriously. Thank God. Are you alright now? Doing roughly. I'm more worried about you than me, Kinjo. Why'd you take off your bandages? Can you even move like that? Okay, so he took off his bandages, not held his pants? What? I don't even know what the hell happened. Akane is... Calm down, you still don't know what happened. Since you passed out. Akane Taira hasn't done anything, saying that it would be fair that everyone needs to be awake. And Kinjo also said that he didn't want to explain this twice, so he said we should wait until Maeda wakes up. Sorry. You don't have to worry about my body. I don't know why, but it's fine. Anime! Are you going to sit down first? Maeda is finally awake, and there are so many things I have to tell you guys. I can finally get a proper explanation. Now then, Kinjo, come on. Tell us, you said your memories have returned, didn't you? His memories have come back? Yeah, what can I say? It's an unbelievable story. We, the 79th Hope's Peak freshmen, are somehow all 16 of us were caught up in an incident related to our memories. Then that means what Mikaru said was true? Now that we're here, there's nothing to be surprised about, but I still am. What Mikaru said, Mikaru, did you know that we lost our memories? It was a guess, but I thought there was a high probability that it would be the case, because there are so many clues of it. True. What? What's with that expression? Also, were you the kind of guy who could laugh like that? I didn't know Mikaru could ever hear me say that. Well, I might have done it at the time when our admission was given. So what are you talking about, to be more specific? If Mikaru guessed it in advance, the story goes fast. Apart from amnesia, the thing you guys are most curious about is us, because we lost our memories. How many memories were lost? What kind of memories were we lost? That's what I mean. Yes, to be honest, the last memory I had before entering Hope's Academy was when we were all gathered in front of the door and shared useless self-introductions. Since then, all at once felt dizzy, and then when we woke up, we were already at Hope's Academy. No, we were in this unknown building. From here, it's guesswork. Isn't that unknown vertigo just the aftermath of amnesia? You mean that we already lost our memory since the moment we lost consciousness? In that hallway? I believe so too. The entrance... That's just weird, because Mikako was already inflicted at the entrance in that opening conversation. I believe so too. The entrance before I lost consciousness was the building of Hope's Peak that we knew. But maybe we've been already in contact with the mastermind before this. What? How much? People look different. They look different? Hey, what now? While we were talking, you suddenly shut your mouth. Don't tell me you don't remember anything now. No, I'll tell you. Everything I remember, including the amnesia. But before that, I have a favor to ask you. Favor? Each one of you right now will hit me. Huh? Are you okay? Did the bullet hit in the wrong place? Yes, but that's not the problem here. No, I'm serious here. You guys have to hit me. Kinjo is crazy again. Are you for real now? If you want to get hit, I'll hit you as many times as you want, but at least let me ask you why. Because I have to make an atonement. Atonement has come? Is that stuff again? No, wait, I don't mean to commit that act again. Look, I don't even have a pistol. Do you think I'll do something stupid like that again? Kinjo, that means, after losing your memory, do you still remember what happened? That's right, I remember everything. To protect everyone. What I did to you guys under that false pretext. What I did to our friends who committed the murders. But now that I've come and regret it, I hope nothing will change. We must move forward with hope. So this will be the last atonement for myself. Now, even for the friends who have died because of me, you're going to beat me. What kind of nonsense logic is that? Besides, beating up Kinjo, that's too much for me. No, you can. You have it. The feeling of exploding anger that has accumulated towards me during all this time. You have to do this. I can't let go of my stupid self while I had my memories lost. So this is the only way for you to feel relieved, right? Yeah, of course. I know that this is not enough. Besides, a few days ago, using that as... Now, we good? Mikaru? Yeah. Mikaru, you're quite different from a feeling of being beaten. It's spicy. That's for granted. You told me to explode the feelings I had accumulated for you. When you came with that pistol, you really mean it when you say something like this. What'd you say? It's nothing, so shut up. Then Yuki and Teruya, please do it. Kinjo, but there's no way I can hit you. Please, I've been a bad person to all of you up until now. So to be honest, it would be rude to ask this now. I want you to do this, especially you, Yuki. After being shot in the head in my dreary consciousness, I heard you calling for me. And the words you said to me, I'm feeling them right now, so let me know how you felt at that time. If you could go back in time, what would you do? I could go back to that time? It's true. At that time, it really felt like Kinjo was about to die. My dear friend was about to die right in front of me, and I couldn't do anything, feeling helplessly. He was really lucky. Kinjo was unharmed, but if Kinjo had died in the end, Yuki. I'm sorry, Kinjo, but I did it, didn't I? If I could go back to that time, if you really want me to go back when you did that, or if you ever do it again, I'll hit you twice as hard or 3 times harder, and I'll stop you from doing that. Yuki? I told you to explode your anger against me, but you exploded your anger against yourself. What? No, it's okay. Thank you, Yuki. My eyes have been opened even more. Now, lastly, Teruya, please. I have to do it? Thank you all for hitting me. I don't think this has cleaned up my faults, but I still feel refreshed. No progress, seriously. It's the same whether it's a gunshot or a beating. It's really annoying to keep making a fuss over your own mistakes, isn't it? Well, unlike the last time when it was your desperation, I still felt your will in this one. Thank you for accepting my unreasonable request. Hey, are you really Kinjo, laughing like that or asking us to beat you? This is so different from the word that the word doesn't even fit for it. Different, if you say that, it could be. At least, I think I've grown a lot since I entered Homespeak Academy. If the memories of my school life were removed, then I am who I was before I met any of you guys. So this is the me you see after my school life. It is a remarkable difference. Memories of school life. And that was my guess too. The memories we lost are the memories of our school life. We've already spent a considerable amount of time after entering Homespeak Academy. That day, something caused us to lose all of our memories after the entrance ceremony. You guys, since when did you find out? At least when I was in the ballroom, there didn't seem to be any clues about it. Not too long ago, Kinjo, Makaru told us after you fainted in the class trial. Let's continue where we left off, before this obvious story, about people being different. What do you mean by that? As I mentioned before, I grew up meeting you at Hopeseek Academy. It was quite different for me at the time of admission. Not just me, in our 79th classroom, there were a lot of kids who each had a bad past or wrong values, and there were also a lot of people who were bad at socializing, including me. However, when most of us were in a similar circumstance, we helped each other, gave each other trust, and we lived together, so most of the guys would have grown up and opened their hearts to everyone. So what? Talk about the conclusion. What does that have to do with being with the mastermind? Hold on, in order to bring different people together in such a ruthless way, he was always at the center of it. Yamato Kisaragi. Kisaragi? That guy was also our classmate? No, in retrospect, you mentioned his name when you entered the courtroom yesterday. Now you understand what is unnatural about that self-introduction that you thought was the last memory you had before being here? When the self-introduction happened, Kisaragi was not there. Then what? That memory was manipulated? No. Okay, that explains it. Then that was our last memory? Then what was our last memory? It's hard to see that as a manipulation. What else would it be? It's for a fact that Kisaragi was there when I first introduced myself in my memory. It also coincides with the fact that the teachers were late and introduced ourselves while waiting. Crucially, the conversation I had with you guys during self-introduction also coincides with a few exceptions. But how much people were different. For example, Kurokawa. Kurokawa? I'm going to ask you guys now who don't have any memories of our school life. Would you believe Kurokawa actually had a louder and more cheerful personality than Satsuki or Kyoka? Nope. That woman, I don't believe it. Even if I went to sleep, I can't imagine it. He just went to sleep and imagined it. Mikako was originally like that. She was a lively mood maker that rivaled Haruhiko. You're kidding me, right? Wait, then that was probably... It's true. I couldn't believe it after memory came back. Why did such a bright and lively girl change like that? That girl in my memory from the time she introduced herself, she always had a dark aura, but joy seemed to miss in that woman. Didn't she just grow up tired playing with others? That's probably not the case. She's been so chatty ever since the time she introduced herself. It was a very memorable moment. Wait a minute. But at the time of the self-introduction, I remember. Kijo, you also spoke with the silent Kurokawa, right? It's also possible that we were played by the mastermind at that time. No way, that self-introduction was also fake? I don't know exactly, but from my point of view, when my memory returned, I felt that there was a similar number 2 self-introduction. When I woke up in my room a while ago, somehow that strange woman was with me. She said that this is the real me. Strange woman? Akane Taira, you spoke to her in the end. This girl was also different from how she looked at school after being with us. The woman gave everyone her name and treated them with respect. That sudden change of that girl wasn't her personality, it's just that her original self came. Yeah, no matter how many times you try, it's not enough. I don't know if she was acting or something else, but they've been pretending to play tricks on us who have lost our memories. All was just an act? The Akane I've known so far? Because this is the real me. The one Maeda-sama knew. That stupidly bright one, and all those reactions were all fake. But in his memory, in his dream, she wasn't like that. It can't be. Hold up, what was that really acting? Was that really acting? There was one hypothesis, but I think it's possible that the mastermind erased their own memories, like us. Erasing one's memory? Indeed, that is certainly a possibility, but I think that's unlikely. If that happens, not only will the sense of purpose disappear, but that girl's subordinate, the ultimate super high school level despair, to use such a reckless method. If it was acting, then you pointed out the mastermind, she continued to deny it, right? It's suspicious that she screamed as soon as she heard the word super high school level despair, that she dared reveal her identity. I'm also concerned about what Monokuma said. You have returned? I don't know anymore. Akane, who even promised to defeat the mastermind, together, all of us. Calm down. It's not the memory loss that matters now. This is just a tool used against us for the mastermind's purposes. The real deal is to defeat the mastermind and get out of here. How are we going to win? There's also Monokuma on the mastermind side. To win, we need strength. To gain strength, we need knowledge. There are things I need to tell you guys first. The greatest, most awful, most... Are you serious? Well, I did list this as a possibility at some point. The reuse of assets. Just rip the assets right after Trigger Happy Havoc. The greatest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. And the most cosplayed fictional character of all time. Junko Inoshima. Junko Inoshima? That thing of human history? The newspaper Maeda found on the 5th floor? Explain it. The greatest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. That's it. You. Kinjo-sama, if you talk that far, you're out. That would be fun. Now would it? What, that move is back dumpling? Shut up, you rotten criminal girl. Where do you have the right to restrict my actions? You want a right? There is one. Monokuma-sama. Who did you call me? Do not forget, I am the owner of this place right now. You got it? I can turn you all into a beehive just by giving orders to Monokuma-sama here. The surveillance camera. Yeah, your life is a lantern in front of the wind. You better not disobey. Monokuma-sama, now that your business is over, disappear. What's with this cold treatment? Monokuma-sama's a little hurt. In that regard, it's no fun if Kinjo-sama says a useless thing, so I'll put a ban on Kinjo-sama from now on. Why? It's no big deal. Until the final class trial is held in a little while, you just have to not disclose the truth that Kinjo-sama knows to the others. Class trial? Did you just say class trial? We have to do a class trial? You bastard. I don't know what you're trying to do, but you're going to block our own information? What are you talking about? It's the opposite. I'll give you time to investigate, since the class trial will be held, and leave you enough clues. Because it's not really interesting to hear it from Kinjo-sama before this. Honestly, what's with that? Kinjo-sama's memories came back. This was very unexpected. Whatever the case, it looks like you really are the mastermind. So what is this last class trial? You're going to have us kill each other again? I won't do that. Didn't I tell you? The murder class trials are already over. From here on out, it's the bonus stage. I'm only fulfilling the promise I made with that person. It's already over for you guys. I don't know what are you saying at all, but I get a bad feeling about it. That's what I say. So that person is Junko Inoshima? Is that... So what's the conclusion? What are you going to do? I don't think Junko's actually going to appear on the fan game. Just a name drop. Well, shall we give it a try? Okay, from now on, I'll open all the blocked areas in this place. What now? And I'll put a lot of clues here and there. Please do your best to investigate and prepare for the upcoming class trial. Investigation? Investigation for what? There hasn't been a murder, so you want us to find out about the memories then? The truth of all the events. You always wondered, right? Please find out and tell me the truth about this murderous class life. What? If you can figure out the truth behind all the incidents, and if it's the correct answer, I'll get everyone out of here safely. Is that really true? However, if you make the wrong reasoning and you can't give an answer, well, at this point, even if I don't tell you, you would know, right? That's all? Are you really letting us out? If it's just that, there's no problem. We have Kinjo who has regained his memories. Chiria, hold on a minute. You're so confident. As this is a class trial, the evaluation will be fair. If you look carefully at the clues I have prepared, there's a good chance that you will win. So, for now, please start the investigation for the last class trial. See you at the court date. Wait, stay put. Is the truth of all the incidents only to investigate the essential incidents that we are in? Yes, but what does that question mean? What will happen to Yamato Kisaragi and Mikako Kurokawa's truth? The last murder case involving those guys was strange to anyone. The murder weapon was unknown, the class trial ended abruptly, and the execution was cut short. What is the mystery regarding that case? Shouldn't that point be explored? Mekaru-sama, too, ahaha. Do you really care so much about that case? It's because I didn't have any conviction. I didn't understand it. Just as you said before, a class trial that is held with fairness seemed to be completely twisted. We can't say for certain if the culprit was Mikako Kurokawa. Yeah, of course the culprit is Monokuma. What? Monokuma was the one who incapacitated the two people with the gas. Monokuma-sama was the one who exploded Kisaragi-sama's chest. Monokuma-sama did things such as moving the paralyzed Kurokawa-sama to his liking, moving the blood around, and making her pick up the kitchen knife. Monokuma-sama. In addition, everything else, such as hanging the bed sheets in the ballroom and opening the private room, etc., was performed by Monokuma-sama. The culprit is him. Okay, so I was right. I guess I win. It was the mastermind. Okay, my guess was right. What? Don't mess with me. I don't know for sure, but want to see it. Then let me ask you, Monokuma-sama? Did you call me? Last time you told me to leave earlier. Monokuma-sama. Was it Monokuma-sama who killed Kisaragi-sama? Was I caught? What? I thought so. In fact, the alibis themselves were so perfect that it was impossible to commit the crime unless you teleport. No, to be precise, it's a little bit different for me. It was something like that anyway. I don't know what you mean since it happened after I passed out. One thing is for certain, Monokuma, you broke the rules. No, I mean, it's not exactly me. Whether you killed him or not, it's certain that you blame the innocent Kurokawa, am I wrong? That's true. That was unavoidable. I don't know. Don't worry about what's done and over. Do you see now? Monokuma did it? What the hell was that class trial for? Actually, I don't know the details myself because Monokuma-sama did it on his own. Well, I'm tired of resolving the events that happened to the last champion again, aren't you? What the hell do you mean, champion? Don't make weird words. And Monokuma did what he wanted. After all, you're saying that Monokuma is really an artificial intelligence doll? Well, I prepared several clues, including that, so try your best to investigate. For real this time. So is Kurokawa the last champion, or was Kisaragi? Wait a minute. Maeda-sama, what else? I want to start with it. Aren't you really Akane Taira? Yuki? Yeah, I'm Akane Taira. You know that not being aware of this is an escape from reality, nothing more, nothing less, right? Please make a wise judgment. Well then, shall I really start, Kinjo-sama? Please remain silent until the trial begins. I really hope you find the truth. Damn it. Akane. You can come to your senses. That's no longer the Akane Taira that you knew. This must have been her true form. You're kidding me. You're just gonna throw it away without even giving a proper conclusion? Fine. That's it. Even if it comes to this, I'll reveal the truth. Still, they keep us alive and give us a chance like this. It looks like they've been looking for it for a while, but I'm certain we can do this. Like it or not, the time has come to put an end to this terrible nightmare. Let's go. We have no choice but to do it. We have no choice. None. Just like when we examined Maki's body. Just like when we were investigating Tomori's body. Just like when we were investigating the bodies of Yamaguchi and Inori. Just like when I saw Haruhiko's body. Just like when we had to see Kisaragi's body. It's not a matter of wanting or not want to. It's the only things you have to do. The fatigue that we don't know why we are given a chance. The unending anxiety about whether we can really know the truth or not. A vague sense of fear that comes from being at the crossroads of life and death again. But right now I feel the biggest emotion, the feeling of being betrayed by someone you loved. You know, the feeling of despair that comes from losing someone important to me. and rage. I'll do it. I'll finish everything. With betrayal, despair, and anger mixed with grief and sadness, if drowning in curiosity, my reason began to step out to put an end to this academy of despair. That music sample. Danganronpa. I think everyone went to investigate. Let's hurry up too. Akane? Now, according to the words of the mastermind, all the places that have been locked up until now were opened. There's a place that's been locked up until now, the information processing room, the headmaster's office, the 4th floor, the locked room at the end of the 5th floor, and finally the 2nd floor student dormitory. They wouldn't have opened the entrance of the front door, so the exception is there. In any case, the only way to escape from this nightmare is to uncover the truth. Let's do our best to investigate, trusting ourselves with this boiling rage. We're gonna get that. Yes! We are getting that music. Ah, I can save. Unlike in Chapter 5. Done. Chapter 6 next. I'm probably just gonna jump it. I'm probably just gonna do the Zephyr build, even though the translation's terrible. I probably will not do this on the original build until I do the whole thing. Ah! Yes, that is much more tragic, much more tragic than the original commercial Danganronpa. That is like a... That is a smack in the face. We had Mikako die. I mean, you could say that they... It's kind of... You know how, like the expression, if you don't see the body, if they don't show the body, that indicates that they are not dead? Well, that works in, like, Western cartoons. Not Western as in, like, the genre Western, and Western as in, like, made in European... the Americas cartoons. But with Japanese stuff, it's not really the case, right? Like, if you remember the Danganronpa anime and Kira. But it's like, I can't help but think, like, there's gotta be some significance to the execution supposed to be a minute long, and it just stopped at 1 second. And the explosion did not happen. It's like, they showed the body, and Mikaro said that she was dead, but they did not show the explosion. The explosion was cut. There's got to be a reason they did that, because if she was dead anyway, why would they do that? You might go, oh, it's anticipation for the grand reveal. But that grand reveal could have happened anyway, so there's something up with that, still. Maybe Mikako is somehow miraculously not dead. But then, okay, but we presume that Mikako is dead, and then right after Mikako dies, Yuki's love interest just all of a sudden turns out to be like the mastermind. Lose one girl, one, like, what they call the best girl, one best girl, and then the other best girl's mastermind.